What is up, RotoGrinders? We have a rare treat today. We got Blender in the house. Next 2 hours, GrindersLive taking all the way up the lock. 6-gamer afternoon slate. 12:35 the first pitch, so nonstop 2 hours. MLB DFS conversation. Crunch time coming in about an hour and change or so. Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth, Beimfohr, TJ Zwarych. But you got us for the next 70 minutes or so. 6-game slate, kind of a baby slate. So, Blender, how are we ever going to fill the time? I can't imagine the two of us. Are we going to be able to make this work? Are we able to fill the time in for a 6-gamer? Do we have enough nonsense to, we say nonstop MLB DFS conversation, but my hunch is at some point the nonsense will seep in. How's everything been?
This is an entertainment show, all right? This is, GrindersLive is the precursor to the real people, right?
This is just the appetizer, right? Is that how that works?
It's a very long appetizer.
It's a long appetizer,
slate, I guess. But I tune into Crunch Time almost every day because I need to hear about the weather. Essentially, Roth is my weatherman. What I do now, since I'm out playing poker most nights, which makes it great to be a RotoGrinders premium member. I mean, obviously, I get it all for it because I'm here anyway, right? At RotoGrinders, is that like all of our stuff is mobile friendly. Like there are apps, like the RotoGrinders app. There's the SimLabs app. Like I do SimLabs videos twice a week.
That's your friend, yeah.
And I look at it on desktop like I am right now, but it's 6:30. 6:30 comes around Eastern time, and obviously starting lineups get updated, all this data gets updated, ownership gets updated, and I just step away from the poker table, hit that SimLabs app. I do exactly the same things that I do in my video, just like, let's see who's optimal here, what shows up in a lot of lineups there, and I play my 1 to 3 lineups, and I manually put them in while I'm folding 90% of my hands at the poker table, and while I have in my ear, I have Roth telling me about what's going on in that Atlanta game last night, what the radar looks like, and 15 minutes, I'm done, and whatever. I mean, to me, 70 minutes to the previous slate. Like, dude, I do all my work in about 7 minutes.
I'm trying not to hear the part. I'm hearing basically once Dean goes away, that's when I turn the show off. I'm trying not to hear that part.
Once Roth comes about, it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with you.
Trying not to take it personal. No, I'm
not. How about the people that are on the show? I'm not talking about Cheese or Cardi or Erik or whoever's on the show. It's just like no. I just Roth, tell me if that game's good to go. Is that going to be a late start? Do you think it's just going to clear up? I just, if I want to play this stack or I want to play this pitcher, just let me know. Because other than that, like SimLabs, I remember I've given into our AI overlords, right? Whatever AI tells me to do, I'm just going to do it. Why not? Why fight it? Right at this point, and it's 2025.
It's inevitable,
right? DFS, you're an old school. I'm old school to most people, even though you're even more old school than me. Back in the day, we didn't have any of these tools. We had nothing. We barely had projections. We barely had any of this stuff. It was mostly just seat of the pants. Let's take a look at the starting lineup. Let's dig into like FanGraphs data to hopefully, and most of that didn't matter because no one knew how to really look at it from a like a model perspective. And then this is our best guess. This is our best guess. And then that's what it was, and that's why. That's why all these shows existed. But now, once the AI overlords have come, I just let them tell it. They tell me that Jock Flaherty is overowned. I'm just going to believe them. Nothing about AI is infallible, right? I mean, you've used, I do a Google search with like Google AI. I'm just going to trust whatever that summary that comes up. I just trust it. It tells me, ChatGPT tells me, Dean, that you have 2 kids. I should trust it, right?
Well, I don't know their names. I'm not aware that they exist. But if ChatGPT, also I'm like, well, maybe I do have 2 kids. If that's what ChatGPT says, you've given it. I'm still old school. I'm still, cranking out the lineups by hand. Not as efficient as some others, I would suppose. But you set me back there for a second. Talking about like back in the day. Back in the day, you remember this? The sites didn't tell you who was starting. You remember that? Were you around for that? I'm not sure if you're around for that. They wouldn't note. They wouldn't say like so and so start. It wouldn't like highlight this guy's batting third.
They wouldn't have the little indicator of like the batting position or something. Or
they wouldn't tell you they're playing or not. You just had to know.
Right. You just had
and then there was an edge to that, obviously. But we move forward with the technology. You mentioned Roth. Roth will be on about an hour or so, but the weather report looks pretty clean. I did drop it in chat. Once again, positive pitching environment for Chicago, Cincinnati. It's green in Detroit, a few showers around, but most likely, clearing further north. So a low chance of a delay.
It's not green in Detroit. It's pretty gray and brown in Detroit. Have you been to Detroit? It's not
years ago.
Not that green. I mean, I know on our weather page, green for it, that most likely weather is going to be fine and everything, but definitely not green in Detroit.
I caught a ball game there. I was there for a couple days. Back in the day, I used to go like on a road trip every summer with my friends before we all got married and we all had kids. All of us, including myself, apparently, according to the AI. And
that's why your friends don't call you anymore, Dean. They think you have kids.
Yeah, well, they do too. Most of them. But so we would kind of knock out, like we would map it out and like hit like 3 or 4 stadiums in every trip and take a week or 6 days, that kind of thing. And that was we stayed in Windsor. Actually, Windsor's right across the border from Detroit. Little geography lessons for the people. But Detroit, good times there. And I think we knocked out. At least I knocked out about 17 ballparks, something like that. So I don't know. There you go. It's a best one.
I've been to Windsor. I've been to Windsor one.
Yeah.
Dean.
You gambled 18.
Yeah, that's true. Hardest part about going over the bridge into Canada was gas, because I know we had to fill up and we had to pay Canadian dollars per liter, and I don't know how much I don't know how much we paid. I don't know, whatever it was. You had to convert the prices.
You might have got price gouged for all you know.
All I know, we filled up our tank. Maybe we got overcharged. Who the hell knows?
My cab driver. Dates the story. My cab driver definitely took advantage of me. I think I took the scenic route, but let's not get into that. Let's talk about today's 6-gamer. Myself and Blender. I see TJ hanging out in chat representing Canada. He'll be on soon enough. I think he's hosting. Yeah, Roth is hosting. He'll be giving some analysis on the slate. It's a pitching dominant slate, Jordan. It's Jack Flaherty. You mentioned him. He looks pretty good. Robbie Ray, assuming we catch the good Robbie Ray, is well positioned against a Pittsburgh team that is terrible. There's no O'Neal Cruz, which is kind of a good bad because he strikes out a lot for his lefties, but he's also probably their best, most imposing hitter. Ranger Suarez is, another good pitcher facing a Baltimore team that, just disappointing, I guess we can say. And if you look at the plate IQ, it's red and green and distinctly different depending on if you're left-handed or right-handed. There's so much better versus righties. Suarez, the lefty. This Baltimore team collectively has been pretty bad versus left-handers. Even Gunnar. Gunner's been kind of a disaster this season versus lefties. 103 ISO, 283 WOBA, striking out 27% of the time. Just not good, and also not a patient team. 3.3% collectively as far as their walk rate. That seems bonkers. Oh my God. Now there's some guys here that have like a 0%, which maybe that's carrying it down and like small samples, Jackson and Vasquez, but I've never seen a collective. You ever see a collective 3.3% walk rate? I feel like I've never seen that before. That seems insane. I
see that in Los Angeles.
You
have to drive a car in Los Angeles to get anywhere, so only 3.3% of the population walk.
I thought that was a punchline for something. I was trying to figure out, but
you had to figure out where I was going with that.
I thought you were going with
kind of a good punchline where you have to figure out. I really don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you have to explain the joke. Okay, there you go.
Put on some coffee and you kind of workshop that one. I know, I see that there's something there, but maybe it's a little too early for me.
You asked me a question. Have I ever seen a 3.3% walk rate? And
yes, I mean, to be fair, it was relating to the conversation. Yeah, I know. Right. Do we officially say hello to chat? What's up, chat? Hit that like button and do subscribe and turn on those notifications.
The chat are all bots. The chat, don't worry about it.
It's like Twitter.
I'm assuming since I just play via SimLabs, I just assume everything is AI at this point.
Yeah.
Like Dean, you're AI Dean. Everyone, all the bots in chat is AI Dean doing a great job today because RotoGrinders have spared no expense to replace people at the company with the AI versions of them. Dean has had some bad jokes. He hasn't commented on the injury report yet with body parts, right? This
is like the version 2.0. We need some tinkering.
Right. I mean, there's so much material out there. I mean, your two kids should be proud of you. Your two AI kids.
I'm actually at the beach right now. This is not really me. Yeah. All right. Yeah, chat. What's up? Hit that like button. Do subscribe. Yeah. If you don't turn on notifications, you don't know that we're doing this show today because it's 10:30 in the morning. Well, there's enough games for us to talk a couple hours about today's.
I don't believe
slate.
Mr. Richard. Anyone that has in chat that says they're not a bot, that's exactly what a bot would say.
That's what a bot would say.
It would be the first thing that I would program into a bot, right? To just tell people that you're not a bot, obviously.
I did see a thing. I saw a story, and I'm saying I saw a story. I'm pretty sure I might have just read the headline or maybe the first paragraph. Nobody actually reads the story, right?
You're right. You're just as bad as reading the AI summaries. It doesn't matter. I don't know. I don't know. This could be real. I don't know. Just read the headline. Who cares?
It said that the AI, like the robots, they're learning how to lie now. I don't know if you saw that. They've understood. They know how to lie. Like it's all. I mean, you've seen Ex Machina, right? It's not gonna. Yeah. It's not gonna. Well, we'll see. Whatever. And they're not as friendly as Johnny Five. I don't think they're gonna be. We'll see. We'll see how it all turns out. We're due for a Short Circuit remake, are we not? That's got to be coming, right? That's got to be happening. They've remade everything else. Why is that not happening? It feels like they can remake Short Circuit. Okay. This slate screenshot. What are the overlords telling you? What it's telling me, what my actual brain is telling me before you'll infiltrate it. It's a pitching slate, right? 12 teams. Not one team has a team total above 5. That's kind of like sort of the barometer of, for me, like, oh, good offense, bad offense. 5's kind of the cutoff. The biggest total we have on the board is what? Who is it?
Detroit. I mean, it.
Yeah, Detroit.
You put it as a pitching slate. I call it a lack of offense slate because it's not like it's. I mean, some of the pitchers on the slate, I don't want to play at all. I mean, it's not like we have pretty not great pitchers on the slate, like on the bottom end to attack. But we have a whole bunch of pitchers that you probably don't want to play offenses against, right? That's the better way of putting it. It's like I don't consider this to be a great pitching slate just in comparison to the offenses. When Detroit has a 4.64 implied run total, they're the highest on the slate. Philadelphia 4.56, San Francisco 4.39, the Mets 4.27, the Yankees 4.24, right? And those are the only teams that have over a 4. Every game, literally every game has at least one, if not both. The Cubs Reds is both under a 4 implied run total. Just screams that the 6 games, and if one of these teams scores 5 runs, you're good. Yeah, I mean, like kind of like that type of slate.
Not all 5 runs are created equal, though. You need homers. We want some homers.
Or
5 solo jobs, sure.
In bunches, if you're going to stack and everything like that. I think strategically on this slate is you want to do one of 2 things. One, stack, obviously I tend to prefer stacks, but 5-man stacks and hope one team scores 8 to 10 runs. That would be overperform. Any of these teams scoring that would be overperforming. Or don't necessarily worry about 5-man stacks. I know, Dean, you love the 1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1 stacks.
Well, there's a middle ground amongst those two strategies.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2 1-1-1-1-1-1-1. Yeah, at least they have 2 from one team.
This is definitely. I mean, I know you're making a joke.
Running
but
joke,
this,
Dean. This is AI Jordan speaking. You're not actually.
This is like a 4-2-1-1. I love it.
Sleeping, by the way. So, like, this is me. If you don't like any of the jokes that I'm saying in this morning, just complain to Grok or whoever's in charge of me today. I'm just saying that if you find the guy that hits 2 home runs today, you probably have a pretty winning line. I mean, like, I'm not necessarily prioritizing 5-man stacks. If it's 4-3-1, if it's 4-2-2-1, if it's something like that, I don't mind as much on a low scoring slate. And then secondly, the pitching scoring, you have more opportunity cost if you go off the board. meaning that like I think you're going to need 35, 40 points out of your both, two pitching spots today. So, and the bats, like most of the expensive bats aren't even worth paying for. So, like saying, I'm going to take a shot on Jack Leiter at 6,900 against the Yankees. Like, I mean, you can, but I think most likely multiple pitchers put up 20 fantasy points today. And if you don't have one of them, you're probably going to be pretty far behind. Now, whether or not it's Rodon or Suarez or Ray or Peterson or Flaherty, like that would be the upper end. Even Gavin Williams, I guess, at 7,100. Like,
he flashes. He has moments.
Right. I'd rather just play two of these guys without I'm going to take a shot on Andrew Heaney today. Well, I'm not. Right. Like it has nothing to do with if Andrew Heaney scores 12 points, that could be fine. But I just don't think there's enough offense on today's slate that you're going to get buoyed by low pitching performances. I just think 40 points at pitcher, 35 to 40 points at pitcher is like a necessity on today's slate. And there's no bat. I don't think I looked. I don't think there's any bat that I would prioritize. Like if you didn't pay more than $5K for any bat today, when you take a look at the Phillies lineup, and how are you going to stack the Phillies today in comparison with the pitching prices? And when Trey Turner's 5,700, Schwarber's 6,200, Harper's 5,200, it's like, yeah, they have the highest, they have high raw projections, but unless the Phillies just go off, unless one of these guys hit 2 home runs or something, I just don't think these expensive hitters are necessarily worth getting to that I would play like cheapy pitchers today when most of the pitchers that I mentioned have 16 to 19 point mean projections against teams that have almost no implied team total.
Yeah, I like to call this is something that I coined vomit arms. Vomit arms that make you want to vomit. I don't want any of that. Have you thought about that? Is that something you've considered? Yeah, no vomit arms for me today. I'm with you as far as what you're laying out. Ideally, Blender on DraftKings, I'm going to have 2 of Ranger Suarez, Robbie Ray, Jack Flaherty, Carlos Rodon, David Peterson, and that's it. That's it. It's 2 of those 5, and that's it. Because you let it out. There's no hitter there's no oh my God, I can't imagine making a lineup without including this hitter. That person does not exist on this slate. There's no perfect spot. The best hitting environment is in Pittsburgh. And that says
the worst is not a good hitting spot.
No, I meant to say the worst hitting environment is in Pittsburgh. That's where the worst pitcher is in Heaney. But I guess San Fran's kind of used to it. But even still, a 4.4 total. I like the Giants, but I don't love the Giants. I don't feel like I absolutely must get to the Giants. You mentioned the Phillies. Trevor Rogers, good on left. Left on left. Like if you want to roster some Schwarber, I think is 13 or 14 homers this year versus lefties. So certainly has the ability. You mentioned Trey Turner. Trey Turner's been overpriced since the start of the season. Sure, if you're stacking Philly, I get it. If you kind of run your way down the list, Minnesota's kind of got a bullpen game, but essentially it's going to be all righties. I think there's one lefty in their bullpen for Minnesota, and he threw 1 pitch yesterday, which is really efficient. Cody Funderburk. Who could forget Cody Funderburk? So I imagine he's available, throwing 1 pitch yesterday, but we should get a slew of righties following Pearson Ole, who I assure you is a real person and not AI himself. Pearson Ole. But yeah, you just gotta lay it out. Certainly you can always play Pete Alonso. You can always bang out a couple. Can you necessarily see it coming? Today, I don't really think it's an obvious call, but in bad ballpark, he doesn't care. And there's no incredible hitting weather either. If you look at the Weather Edge, there's a couple decent spots. Met Stadium is getting a slight bump. A little strange because the wind is blowing in, but is 80 as far as the temp, 64 is the 2. Slight bump in 58 games. 7.9% bump in homers, 7.9% bump in runs. Talked about Chicago, wind blowing in kind of from right field, right center, where 117 previous games, we're seeing a loss of 18% homers, a loss of 9% runs. So once again, not the most appealing hitting environment. in Chicago. 7.5 total speaks to that as well. Yeah, it's just there's really we're going to talk about the tiers soon enough, and we're going to throw some teams in some tiers, and you're going to build them. And I don't really know what the tier 1 team is. I'm not sure if that tier 1 team even exists. You don't have to do it. You don't have to force it. It's your rules. But I wouldn't say that if there was like 7 more games that that were on this slate, if we just started with the first 6, I don't think one team lands in tier 1 as far as this is the offense I absolutely want to load up on. So you were kind of joking about it, but I think you're also kind of serious. Like today is you roster 2 of those 5 pitchers, and you run out like you homer hunt, with a 3-3-1-1 or 3-2-2-1. Is that right? Is my math? Did that equal 8? I went to UCF, so I'm a little bit slow when it comes to the math. But yeah, I think that's the strategy. That's kind of where I'm at, and hopefully you get lucky on a couple of homer hunters, and then that's how we get there. And I'm not gonna force. I'm not saying you can't do a 5-3, a 4-4 on FanDuel, that kind of thing. Of course you can, but I'm not forcing that. Is sort of where I'm at. We did just get a couple more lineups. It looks like, by the way. Cincinnati came out. Cincinnati is Fried, Steer, De La Cruz, Hayes, Lux, Stevenson, Marte, Fraley, and Hayes in the 9-hole. Baltimore just dropped. That's Holiday, Westberg, Henderson, Rushman, Jackson, Mayo, Kauser, Carlson, Jackson. All right. And the Guardians, Quan, Martinez, J-Ram, Fry, Santana, Arias. I don't know how to say Cephas, Rocchio, and Hedges, who is terrible. Man, there's some bad hitters today. A lot of lineups coming through. I guess we have all of them with the exception of no Yankees, which is a little bit later, no Texas a little bit later, no Chicago. And the slate does cut off before we get to, it will be a totally different conversation. Toronto and Colorado is the game that's kind of in between the slates, right? So no cores today. Do you have a
highlight? Well, I just ran 150 lineups through SimLabs for large field contests. Just to highlight what I said before, because I'm using heuristics, but once I start running stuff through SimLabs, I mean, typically, just like I have my course, Theory of DFS.com, like I get that you could look at a slate and should be able to get the contextual variables of how you should be building lineups. And that's why I looked at the slate and the offenses and the pitchers and go, is this a slate that you have to stack 5 guys on a team when like no one may score more than 5 runs? So I go through SimLabs and I just put in 150 lineups, right? It takes like 5 seconds, right, to run these things. Out of 150 lineups, Dean, what percentage of those lineups are 5-man stacks?
Okay, that's a good question. So my brain says not a lot, but I know correlation is also.
What would not a lot be? Because we have on the exposures tab on SimLabs, you could sort by player, by teams, and also by stack types. And stack types, there's all different 5-1, 5-2, 5-3, 4-2, 4-1, 3-3, 3-2, whatever. It shows you the percentage.
40%. I'm going 40%.
Oh, you overshot it by a bunch.
Oh, really?
5-1, 15%, 5-2, 10%, 5-3, not barely anything. So basically, like 25% 5-man stacks. The 4-man stacks, let's see, 47, 57, but like almost 60%. 4-3, 4-2, 4-1. And then there's some like 3-3s and 3-2s kind of mix in there. But like most of the time, just in comparison, on a 12-game slate last night, 5-man stacks would make up like 92% of like the 150 that I would run. So with a shorter slate, low implied team totals, and especially the pricing on the Phillies being like, it's gonna be hard to stack the Yankees. If you're paying up at pitcher enough, it's hard to play a stack with Judge. It's hard to play stacks with Harper and Turner and Schwarber and stuff like that. Like it's just showing a lot of 4-2s, some 4-3s. So just that highlights strategically that, hey, that fifth guy you have 4 guys from a team. The fifth guy may not need the fifth guy. You take the guy that maybe home runs in the other game. That's perfectly fine.
It's always a tough predicament for us hand builders, Blender. Not to cut you off, but it's always like a tough predicament. It's like, do I add this fifth player who's clearly not as good as this other guy, but he completes the stack, but this other guy, a la carte, is distinctly better, and it's my brain, it just sort of melts because I know you're supposed to, especially if you're in a large field, that's different, different conversation. If you're trying to beat 40,000 people as opposed to trying to beat them 500, it's different as far as your approach should be. But I tend to just give me the better hitter. And it was like my brain's like, well, this guy stinks. When was the last time this person's actually been useful? And some, you never really know. And they're all professionally trained. And on any given day, Matt Vierling could be the best hitter on this slate. That's absolutely possible. Is it likely? No. But it's not likely anybody's the best hitter in the slate. So, what do you do in that predicament? Because is it just sort of like a case dependent? How do you handle that?
Me, I just go with correlation when in doubt. In doubt. But this is not the type of slate that, I'm not gonna overpay for $4,200 guy that happens to be the fifth guy when, another guy projects for 2 points higher or has a higher ceiling or something like that. On this slate, on normally SimLabs just takes care of that. So I don't have to worry about thinking anymore. That's the great thing about AI. Just you don't have to worry about thinking anymore. It just
maybe I'm a dope. I like thinking. Now a lot of times I'm wrong, but I like to think that sometimes I'm right. So
you can still make in SimLabs you can still make choices. SimLabs is telling me that Jack Flaherty today is over-owned for his optimal percentage. That doesn't mean you can't play Flaherty. Just that you probably don't play Flaherty in lineups that are chalky in the hitter spots. But how chalky can your lineups be with Flaherty? That typically is something that you have to kind of judge in your head. Well, SimLabs does that judgment for me. So I could go in and I could lock in Flaherty and go, out of my 3 lineups, I'm going to play a Flaherty lineup, even though he's over-owned. But what does this Flaherty lineup have to look like so I don't have way too much ownership in my lineup? And I let SimLabs do that. And then I'll make another lineup that doesn't have Flaherty, and I'll exclude him from SimLabs. And I go, okay, the non-Flaherty lineup looks like this, right? So you can put in and go, oh, I want to play. If you want to play, Detroit today, and I'm playing one lineup, small field, Detroit. Just lock in Detroit as a team stack and just build as many lineups and look through as many lineups as you want and go, okay, this lineup looks good, and then play it. It's SimLabs doesn't say, oh, this is the one definitive lineup. It's like, no, I can build for this slate, I can build 200, 300 lineups that are essentially kind of the similar in expected value. It's just a matter of which ones do you want to play at that point. And some may be slightly more better than others, but it's not going to be that dramatic.
Are you seeing any lineups or any teams that you think are going to be over-owned?
As far as hitter stacks, you mean?
Yeah. No, I'm not talking about the pitchers. I know. I'm kind of bouncing back and forth, but since you're talking about it, you're staring at it.
According to SimLabs, pitching-wise at least, I will go through pitching first. Basically, Flaherty is the only over-owned pitcher. Rodon would be it. Based on our ownership, we have Ray and Zwarych as the 2 highest owned pitchers. They also have the highest optimal rates. So the Ranger Zwarych is 49%, Robbie Ray is 45%. Then Rodon at 33%, then Flaherty at 22%, and then Peterson at 13%. So basically, according to optimal, obviously Flaherty is cheaper at 8,400. But if Flaherty's going to be 38% owned and only 22% chance of being optimal, he's the only pitcher out of the whole group that is owned more than his rate of being optimal. Everyone else is actually under, right? Rodon is under-owned. Robbie Ray and Ranger Zwarych are about efficiently owned, but they're the 2 chalkiest pitchers. The chalkiest pitchers on the slate aren't over-owned. Right, Flaherty is the most over-owned according to SimLabs. Okay, so the same thing from a hitting perspective. That it's tough because on this slate, I just don't know how many people are going to be able to play the Phillies. Because according to our top stacks tool, Philly is the top stack on the slate as far as optimal rate at 22%. But you're going to have to play. You're not. I mean, you're not going to play the 1, 2, 3. You're going to play some weird type of Philly stack in order to fit that in. Next up is San Francisco, then Detroit. I get the sense that the Giants will be over, but I don't know by how much. The offenses on this slate don't look all that great. So
that's
I'm not
kind of
sure.
what I'm asking. Yeah, like, because if there's one that's going to be extremely owned,
I think people will be more compelled to play San Francisco than Detroit. But I think I think the Giants and the Tigers are probably the two best teams on the slate, point per dollar wise. And then Philly, if you could pay up, and that's kind of what the optimal ran. There's one that's sort of off the board that SimLabs loves that I'm not all that enthralled with, but if the AI overlords tell me to play it, I'll play it. Because the fourth optimal, well, we'll get into tiers when I'm giving away the tiers by the time we get to that.
Okay, yeah, I was just curious on that because again, if it's not clear, there's not one offense I feel like I must have, and if there happens to be one that's going to be super popular, and I don't know if there is, I feel like the pie is going to be cut up, fairly enough where you just basically sort of play the offense you like. But if you see something otherwise, feel free to tell me. I don't necessarily feel like Philly is the best offense on the board. Trevor Rogers is a pretty good pitcher, and I understand Schwarber is spectacular. Harper's good. It falls off. You get a cheap Harrison Bader, who I don't know if you saw somebody point out that Harrison Bader looks like all the 1993 Phillies had a baby, which I thought was pretty funny. He looks like a combination of John Crook and Darren Dalton and the rest of those Phillies.
Lenny Dykstra.
Lenny, was he on the Mets? No, he was in the Phillies at the time, right?
He was on the Phillies for a while, yeah.
Yeah. He looks like a combination of all those guys, basically. So, and pitching-wise, Rodon, man, he's just so many walks lately. But assuming he can keep his walks in checks, he should be pretty good. The biggest K rate on the slate happens to be Flaherty, at 29%, Rodon at 28.5. Robbie Ray, it's always tricky to trust him from slate to slate, but he's taking on just a terrible Pittsburgh team in a great ballpark. And in theory, it should be pretty easy, right? 22.6% collectively as far as the strikeouts. Now, there is some patience on this team, which I don't like. They're willing to take a walk. The walks aren't out of hand. They're 9.5% this season, but it's kind of on the edge. It teeters. And out of nowhere, you never really know. You never get too comfortable with the Robbie Ray start. He can just, have a clean first four and then just go out there and walk the bases loaded in the fifth. None of that stuff would surprise me. You mentioned ownership, by the way, as far as pitchers. I'm showing on DK 40% Suarez, 39% Ray, 37% Flaherty. So, it's basically like a three-headed monster, and then it kind of drops off to Rodon at 22. And if that's the case, I'm fine with Rodon if he's distinctly lower owned, and this stuff will adjust as we close in on lock. Still an hour and a half. Jack Leiter at 13%. I don't know if I like. Again, that's why I just don't want to mess these guys. His dad's probably in the booth today, right? Is his dad watching him pitch? He doesn't he? Is he doing like the? He's in the Yankee broadcast team. I'm not sure.
What's the last time I watched an actual MLB broadcast?
Like with the volume on and everything.
Yeah, with the volume, right? Even that, right?
I guess not this year.
Not this decade, maybe.
No, come on. You accidentally you flipped over.
Probably during the playoff. I probably turned on the World Series at some point.
Yeah. I would imagine it's happened. Yeah, if by accident, if nothing else. But Al Leiter is in the booth on occasion. Not every scene. They David Cohn. They kind of run through him for the Yankees. Producer Steve telling us Michael Kay is the worst. Kay is the play-by-play guy there for the Yankees. I think that's kind of interesting as far as the ownership. Suarez, Ray, Flaherty, and then I think Rodon is kind of the same, assuming he can avoid those walks. But if we're getting David Peterson at the lowest against Cleveland is just so bad against left-handers, and that ballpark's not good either. I'm okay with Peterson. In this lineup that's running out today, of course, there's some contact guys and J-Ram and Quan. but there's also some strikeout guys, Rocchio and Hedges and Fry. So, not the elite strikeouts you want from Peterson, 20%.
You're not scared of CJ Kafis?
I'm not. I was just looking him up.
Is that
a real person?
AI people? We're getting to the point of the season. The AI people, the computer generated people from MLB The Show start coming in and playing.
So 23, 24 years old, 14 homers this year in AAA. 4 stolen bases, 25% Ks, and the minors suggest the bat is projecting 27.8% Ks in the majors. So I kind of like that he's in there. Not a huge prospect, a 10th prospect according to Fangraphs in the Cleveland organization. So I'm not scared of him. Actually, I would like to attack CJ Kafis. If I'm saying his name incorrectly, my apologies. But and he probably turns into Manzardo at some point, right? Because Manzardo the lefty, I assume that's why he's not starting today. I think Manzardo is healthy, unless I missed something.
Does he morph into him? I mean, what you're talking about? He gets replaced. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Just turn into.
It's like meld into him. He gets pinch hit for. I guess it was like another way of saying that. But that would be. I don't know if they have the budget to do such things, or they could just afford to lose. Then what would happen to CJ Kafis? Would they turn back? I don't know how that would work. But other options as far as pitchers, we kind of decided it's the 5, right? It's Rodon, it's Suarez, it's Ray, it's Peterson, it's Flaherty. Producer Steve having some fun with that. Is a GIF I've never seen before, just out of nowhere. Okay. I'm picking 2 of those 5, and that's it. And I'm not making 100 lineups. If I was making 50 lineups, maybe I would just stick to those 5. Because again, I don't think there's any real offense, that I absolutely need. You gotta, if you want to pay for Aaron Judge, you can pinch corners somewhere, but it's pretty straightforward. Like 2 of those 5 should be good, at least. And like you said, you spoke to there being an opportunity cost, and I have no confidence. Like Ole's not gonna throw enough pitches. I don't have a lot of confidence in Heaney. Trevor Rogers is a pretty good pitcher, actually. I think he's usable, but the difference in price is just not enough. Same thing with Abbott, just unnecessary.
Right. These aren't bad pitchers. Like if you said, "Oh, I want to play Andrew Abbott today," or Gavin Williams, or Jack Leiter, or Trevor Rogers, they're not bad pitchers. They're perfectly fine. They just project for like 3 points lower than the other pitchers on a slate where you're not really spending up anywhere. I mean, it's just like you're essentially giving up 3 points mean for nothing, for just like not. Well, they're going to be lower owned. It's like, yeah, but they're also insanely lower optimal percentage. So like you're not gaining anything. Oh, well, they're going to be 5% owned. Like getting 18 points at 5% owned is the same as getting 18 points at 40% owned. So unless you think the 5 pitchers that we mentioned, like half of them, 3 of them are going to just implode, right? And score negative 4 fantasy points. They give up 5 runs or something. Like your score that you get out of all those other pitchers it doesn't matter that much. If you got leverage there, no, it doesn't matter. It's not like a slate where this is a short slate where we had like 2 pitchers that were clearly, they're both going to be 50+% owned. They both project for 3-4 points over anyone else, and everyone's playing those 2, and then everything is a drop from there. Then that's a different story. Because like if one of those only gets 12 fantasy points, you getting 18 or 20 out of someone that's 5% owned is way more valuable. But like between the 5 of these guys, like all the ownership is going to be there, but like unless they all get blown up or something, it's like it's not going to be worth it to get another pitcher unless one of those other. And if you think Trevor Rogers scores 30 fantasy points today, which obviously we don't have a projected for, then then play. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, you can play anyone if you think they're going to get 30 fantasy points at 4% ownership. Go for it. That's perfectly fine. But we have his mean at 12.5. So 30 fantasy points is going to be like an upper 12th percentile outcome or something. So our projections don't say that that's likely to happen. It's much more likely that one of the 5 pitchers we mentioned just all score somewhere between 18 and 22 points. And if you have 2 of them, it's not going to matter which ones you have.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, like we talk about Trevor Rogers and Andrew Abbott, they've been more than cromulent. They've been spectacular pitches this year, just as far as results. Rogers this year a 1.44 ERA and Abbott a 2.15 ERA. Now the Sierra, and you got to dig in. It's like they've been lucky. Rogers is like 185 BABIP, a 3.4% homer to fly ball. Like that stuff has to correct, or regression monster is coming. But he's a solid pitcher. He's perfectly fine. And tough ballpark there in Philly, tough offense, especially the front end. But I just don't think it's that necessary. And I don't think it's the worst idea if you're running out 50 lineups. If you want to work him in there for a little bit of salary savings. And again, Abbott's been good this year too. Another guy that's been lucky, weirdly, because of his home ballpark, doesn't really give you much luck. But, the left on base stuff at 84%, the BABIP at 256, homer to fly ball while pitching half your games in Cincy at 7.3%. That's hard to do, which is a 2.15 ERA, but a 4.26 Sierra suggests again, correction is coming. All right, let's talk about some tiers, Blender. Crunch time coming in about 25 minutes or so. Let's throw some teams and some tiers. Today, you were polite enough to make the tiers category. I'm going in cold. I don't know what it is. Hit me with today's tiers category.
Well, August 6th. Today's August 6th. And you know what that means. Today is National Root Beer Float Day. I don't know if you knew.
Of course, yeah. How are you celebrating?
Right. How do you forget? Shouldn't it be marked on your calendar for August 6th?
Yes.
It's also a bunch of other days that I couldn't come up with a tier list for. But National Root Beer Float Day. So I did a tier list of
different root beers.
No,
like Barks or
dude, you don't want me to do a tier list of that until once you see the root beer float list, you'll see why I couldn't do the one with the root beer.
Okay, go ahead.
So I tier ranked ice cream sodas.
Ice cream sodas. Okay.
So
are there 5 that even exist? I'm trying to.
Yeah, there are plenty that exist.
A Coke float. I feel like that's a thing. I know a root beer.
Yeah,
float,
that I guess is a thing, right? The root beer float, by the way, is the bottom tier because root beer is awful, Dean. I can't rank what root beers there are because they're all horrible.
Bad take.
At the booze. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, we can set a poll. We want to see if it's just myself and Steve are against you, it appears. But is root beer awful? Yes or no? We can drop the poll in chat as well. The people will speak on this. But you just wanted to slander root beer. I guess you're not celebrating National Root Beer.
No, well, I mean, that's why when I saw it's root beer float day, I was like, what the hell am I going to do? Rank root beers? I think they're all horrible. Root beer is the worst carbonated beverage on the planet. On the planet. You can't get any worse.
No, there's got to be worse. Like Sam's Choice. Sam's got to have a terrible selection out there that I'm not aware of. I have no idea,
right? But it can't be worse than root beer.
He's got bad taste, that Sam.
Right.
7-Up is, Mountain Dew is way worse than.
Oh, Mountain Dew.
Oh, I'll drink Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew's fine.
Regular Mountain Dew is so bad. I took
a Code Red guy.
Took a sip of it for the first time in years, like a year or two ago. Like it must have been like 10 years for just plain Mountain Dew. I took a sip and I dumped the rest out. It was so bad.
What made you buy it? What made you say maybe I missed something?
It was in the fridge actually at the office.
Okay, yeah.
I do agree with TJ. Root beer is a drink that is most enhanced by making it a float. Yes, because you have to put the ice cream.
That's a good call,
right? At least you got to do that.
It's an acquired taste too.
Yes. Okay, that's fine. But
they say it tastes like medicine. Like supposedly, like a lot of people that are like British or European, like they try root beer and they think it's medicine. That's what their medicine.
It's awful. It's awful. Why would anyone want to drink that?
Well, it's fun if nothing else. A root beer float. You got to admit it's fun.
Yeah, but you can have your fun. You can have your fun with these other floats. These other floats are not that much different from a root beer float. You have an orange creamsicle, which is orange soda and vanilla ice cream. So there you go, orange creamsicle. That goes together perfectly. You could do.
I think you made up a couple of these: a Boston cooler and a purple cow.
That's basically a ginger ale float. So it's ginger
ale float. I've never heard of that.
Right, that's called a Boston cooler. Purple cow is grape soda. I think grape soda is not that good, so that's why I put them in the fourth tier. So really, Dean, this is kind of not a float list. This is more of a just what sodas do I like list.
You just wanted to slander root beer, I think is what's happening.
No, well, it was root beer float day. I typically make these tiers because I don't come on that often based on what national day it is.
Sure.
And the national days for, like, Dean, we had a choice, like August 6th, National Day. Okay, here are the choices: National Root Beer Float Day,
Yeah,
National Fresh Breath Day.
that's a big
Am
one.
I supposed to rank like mouthwash?
Rank gum, different gum flavors.
Okay,
Gum
I
products.
guess so. National Wiggle Your Toes Day.
Well, okay, the big toe. You power rank the 5 toes?
I gotta rank the toes.
Yeah,
That's
Tarantino would be
not
happy to rank those, probably.
The best toes. I mean, obviously it's the big toe. The big toe is your best toe, right?
That's the one hole, yeah.
Right, that's the one hole. And then the other one is National Social Engineering Day.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing
And to
for
make
that.
you aware that people will call you up and try to get your passwords or something like that. So, what am I supposed to rank there? So I saw root beer float. It's like, what is a root beer float? Oh, it's like an ice cream soda, right? So, like, okay, what's better than a root beer float? Here, well, here's 4 of them. I'd rather have grape soda and vanilla ice cream than I'll have anything with root beer in it. I don't know, Dean. I just don't get root beer. I just don't.
I've never had any of these, for the record, with the exception of I've had a root beer float. It's been a long time since I've had any of them, but I've never had a Purple Cow or a Boston Cooler. Well, what's a mocha float?
Mocha float is either typically it's in coffee, like you get coffee with vanilla ice cream and chocolate fudge. But also people use Coca-Cola for that. So it'd be vanilla ice cream or coffee ice cream with vanilla fudge and the Coke or whatever. Mocha float. I mean, that seems pretty good.
Okay. Yeah.
See, like, this is the bad takes. Like, to me, like, vanilla cream soda is the word. No, that's the real, like, Dean.
Pretty good.
Cream soda,
Underrated.
A tier. Root beer, F tier.
What about root beer cream soda, though?
That doesn't exist. What do you mean root beer cream? Those are 2 different things.
It's like A&W. It's like an A&W cream soda or something like that.
Well, A&W has cream soda. They also have root beer, just like Dr. Brown's. I mean, but they're not the same thing. They're just made by the same company.
IBC was mine back in the day.
IBC cream soda is great. I still get that from the store. I still get
it's still a thing? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and throw some teams and some tiers. The first game we're talking about, San Fran at Pittsburgh. We mentioned it's not a great hitting environment. Haney might be the worst pitcher on the slate. The Giants, they're used to bad ballpark, so they can kind of deal with it. They're locked in for 9. Robbie Ray on the other side, minus 152 favorite. The Pirates are terrible. No O'Neal Cruz here left on left. Where do you want to throw the Giants and the Pirates?
I mean, it's hard to say that there's any like top, like there's no root beer float. Well, it's kind of hard. You can't. The Pirates have to be in Purple Cow because on a slate where Robbie Ray is going to be 40+% owned, you can always stack against him and hope he implodes. So it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, I'm not going to do it, but if you played the Pirates today, I don't think you're stupid because you're going to get leverage on half the field. And then the Giants, I just think are going to be a little over-owned. I think they end up being the highest owned team. So I'm going to put them in Mocha Float. They get dinged. They're one of the top stacks on the slate, but that's not saying much on a slate like.
Somebody has to be the top stack. Like by default, if you're going to rank them, somebody has to be number 1. And whatever the one is not like the same one as other days. And if the Giants happen to be like super owned, like you said, I don't think it's amazing chalk. I like them. I like them fine. But yeah, we'll put them in the tier 2 in Mocha Float. Baltimore's at Philly, 7.5 total, another low total. Rangers, Zwarych, really solid pitcher. We talk about how bad Baltimore has been this season versus lefties. There's also a couple of creative players. Jeremiah Jackson, Alex Jackson's in there. They're down to like their 4th catcher or 5th catcher at this point. They run out a bunch of catchers this season. They do have Adley Rushing. I assume he's DHing today. We talked about Philly already. Trevor Rogers has been good. He's been very good this season once he got called up. I know he's toiling there in the AAA for a while. But you said Philly is going to be one of the more popular offenses as well. If you have the salary for Schwarber and Harper, Turner seems overpriced, but whatever, throw him over the stack. I think just as like this player's good for the price. Harrison Bader's pretty good at 3-1 in the 5-hole. I do like that. But you tell me, where do you want to put Baltimore and Philadelphia?
Oh, well, Philadelphia, the stack is, because remember, these tiers are for stacks. I think playing Turner, Schwarber, Harper, even Castellanos, like as one-offs and stuff like that. I think that's perfectly fine. I mean, it's still a good stack. I mean, I'd put them in Mocha Float just for because they're not going to be super owned because it's hard to play the full stack with decent players and still pay up at pitching. That which also means that Phillies plus Flaherty are probably going to be a popular combination because Flaherty is the cheapest out of that group of pitchers, Flaherty and Peterson. So maybe avoid a little bit more of those overlaps. But, I mean, I'm not enthralled to play the Phillies today. But their ding is more because of price and less because of ownership. Because I think their ownership will be muted because of their price. So they're in Mocha Float. And Ranger Suarez is, one of the highest owned pitchers on today's slate. I put Baltimore in the same bucket as Pittsburgh and Purple Cow of, like, they're not a good stack, but on a 6-game slate, stacking against a 40% owned pitcher in large field GPPs is never insane. Root beer floats, right? Drinking root beer, that's insane, right? Purple cows, if you want it. Like, I'm not doing it, but you're not crazy if you wanted it.
So that's vanilla ice cream and grape soda. That's what you're telling me a Purple Cow is?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, never had like Welch's.
That's what the internet told me. I've never heard of these books. I never knew that.
Okay, so you've never heard of this. You're pretending like you know what a Purple Cow was. You're telling me AI is telling you this, and we've already established we have to trust whatever AI is telling us, so it must exist. Has anybody in chat ever had a Purple Cow? Let me know. Could somebody confirm this actually does exist? Speaking of chat, by the way, hit that like button. We have just a couple more likes so we get to some Spidey bombs. TJ coming in, Spidey coming in. We surprisingly, shockingly, not really. There's more votes in the poll than there are likes, and you're not gonna like this, Blunder. But 26% say root beer is awful. 64% say no. 10% don't mind. They're indifferent. They're in the fence.
What do we care? They're all bots anyway.
Well,
all of our chat people are bots, right?
So, there it is. Producer Steve is showing us that, at least according to the interwebs, a Purple Cow does exist. But yeah, somebody tell us if they've ever actually had it before. And if it's good, if you recommend the Purple Cow. Okay. 2 games down, 4 games to go, about 15 minutes. We have, it's Roth, Beimfohr, as well as TJ. TJ's words. You guys know TJ, right? One of the greatest DFS players in all of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. He just dropped on behalf of Spidey. Spidey bomb number 1. It's Kerry Carpenter. Kerry Carpenter, he got it at 4-1. I like the lefties here for Detroit because, again, we have Ole starting the righty. He's only going to go so deep. And it's essentially going to turn into a bullpen game. And I was looking at Minnesota's bullpen, just one lefty. He did throw baseballs yesterday. I shouldn't say baseballs. Threw one baseball, at least one baseball that counted. One official pitch in the game. I assume he's available, but the pinch hit stuff is muted a little bit with just one lefty for Minnesota. It's Ole at Jack Flaherty. Jack Flaherty, big boy favorite, minus 206, 8.5 total. Minnesota, man, just some. I mean, talk about some who's who. You can't. How many of these guys can you pick out of a lineup, Blender? You haven't watched the last Minnesota game you watched. Probably had 9 different dudes in the lineup. Do you recognize?
The last Minnesota
names?
Game I watched, I
Kirby
think
Puckett
was playing.
Ken Herbeck was pushing somebody off third base.
Yeah.
Alan Roden is drawing the start here for Minnesota. Wallner, Jeffers, Clemens, of course, Buxton on the IL. Keishel did it his first homer ever, so congrats in the majors last night. So shout out to him. Lewis, Larnick, Brooks Lee, and Mickey Gasper. Julien did not draw the start today. I thought he would because he hits from the left side. Twins and Tigers. What do you got?
The Tigers are probably the top stack on the slate. Depends on what their ownership is. So they're an Arj Crimskull. I'd rather play the Tigers than the Giants if they were similarly owned. So that bumps up the Tigers up. Remember, it's a 6-game slate, so these are the differences between these teams are not like dramatic or anything. And then Minnesota falls in the same bucket as the Pirates and the Orioles. If Flaherty is going to be 40+% owned, and you want to play the Twins against him, go right ahead. Stack them up. Hope Flaherty gets blown up or something. If you happen to be right on that day, you win. I mean, that's it. It's one of those like that. That's why the Pirates, the Orioles, and the Twins are those teams. Like if they just happen to score 8 runs today, you're going to get them at single-digit ownership. and 40% of the field is going to have negative scores in their pitching spots, you win on those days. The thing is, those days don't happen that often. Just if they happen today, you win, on a 6-game slate like that. So you're not crazy for playing them, but that's not the likely outcome. But I can't put them in the root beer category because yeah, you're never crazy stacking against 40% on pitchers on a short slate.
I like the idea of homer hunting against Flaherty. You want to play Wallner or Clemens. There is some pinch hit risk here for the lefties. Minnesota, one of the teams that seem more likely to get to their bench and play in the left-right game. I think there's a decent chance Flaherty gives up a homer, 1.5 homers in the season. On the year, 1.88 ISO versus lefties. So I prefer the lefties. The righty's still 1.59. So again, power on both sides he's yielded. He's been pretty good otherwise if he can just avoid the homers. But and I don't think it's completely bonkers. I know you're going to hate this, but like to have Flaherty and a twin, like one twin, I don't think that's completely nuts. Because do I expect a clean sheet out of Flaherty? Not necessarily. I can see him giving up a homer. And again, Wallner, Clemens, Larnack, those are the ones that are going to stand out to me. The guys hitting from the left side. One of those three, I can't tell you which one. Spidey will tell you exactly the homers, but one of those three hits a homer tonight. I'm shocked to see Detroit in the top tier. I did not think we would have a top tier team, but there we go. This is your board, Blender. We're just living in it. Next game up, it's Cleveland at the Mets. David Peterson, good ballpark to throw baseballs, taking on Gavin Williams. If you look at Cleveland against lefties, they're like one of the worst teams in baseball. They got CJ Kafis now. I don't think he's going to turn it around. I got a funny feeling they're still going to be bad collectively versus lefties. It is essentially J-Ram and everybody else. The Mets have plenty of power. I know producer Steve was saying in chat they were gutless. But, there's still some pretty good hitters in this team. And Lindor and the Polar Bear and Soto. They're
very expensive. They're the Dean. I mean, the thing is that the Mets are about as expensive as the Phillies today. I think I prefer the Phillies over the Mets. I mean, the Mets I'll put in the middle in the Boston Cooler, dead center, because they're there. They're fine. They're not going to be that owned. And then the Guardians to me are if I had to put a team in the root beer float section, it would be the Guardians. The Guardians have the lowest implied team total on the slate. They have a team total that is lower than the Twins, lower than the Orioles, and lower than the Pirates. And David Peterson is not going to be 40% owned. So the leverage you get by playing the Guardians against Peterson doesn't get you much there. So to me, that's what puts the Guardians below those other three teams, is that they're in the same boat as that. They're horrible. They're just like they're about the same as the Pirates, the Orioles, and the Twins. The only thing from a DFS strategy perspective is that you don't get the extra added benefit of stacking against a pitcher that's going to be 40% owned. So if I had a choice, I'd rather play the Pirates, the Orioles, or the Twins over the Guardians.
Well, the other thing with Peterson is he keeps the ball in the ballpark. With 0.5 homers on the season per 9. He keeps the ball on the ground. And you combine that with the ineptitude of this Cleveland offense. I know you have some power from J-Ram. I know Martinez has shown some power as well this year in 115 at-bats, almost a 200 ISO in areas in a small sample. But really, there's just so little power. You really shouldn't attack J-Ram. Just kind of like if he swings at your nonsense, by all means. But I would just totally pitch it with David Fry. David Fry scares you on deck. I don't understand why teams.
I'm telling you. CJ Kafis comes out.
He's batting seventh. He's not directly behind J-Ram. If they batted him fourth, then all of a sudden different conversation. But I just don't know how teams pitch to J-Ram. It doesn't make any sense to me. But I just don't foresee if Peterson gets beat up today, it's probably through BABIP, and BABIP's not great because that means we're talking about singles and doubles and that kind of thing. And it turns out, Blender, homers are worth more points than singles and doubles and. You need a lot more of those to get there.
I'm glad people have come here for the hard-hitting analysis. So to let people know.
You got to understand, home runs,
get more points.
14 points on DraftKings, singles 3, double. Why is it 3 points for the first bag and then 2 points in the next bag and 2 points in the next bag? Like who figured that out?
You're all for bag. You're for bag equality, Dean. Just say it.
Yeah.
You're for bag equality.
And don't get me started on catcher interference, getting 0 points, I believe. And walks are worth 2 and a hit's worth 3. Like, what is that? I'm told a walk is as good as a hit. Like Jonah Hill, I will bring him in and he will vouch. I don't understand why is a walk only 2 points? Somebody explain that to me. But I don't want to be on my soapbox today. People don't want to hear it. They've had enough. 2 more games. It's Cincinnati and the Cubs. No Cubs lineup, right? Unless I missed it. Has the Cub lineup been dropped? No. Andrew Abbott versus Cade Horton. 7.5 total. Chicago is the favorite here. I don't think we mentioned Cade Horton's name the entire show. This is like one of those classic. I don't think I'm have any Cade Horton, and I'm not going to have any Cincinnati. It's just I'm ignoring all parts of this. Both sides of Horton and the Reds. No Chicago lineup just yet, but we presume it's going to be pretty good, right? Tucker and PCA and Suzuki. You got to get the day off yesterday. Abbott's been spectacular this year. We kind of talked about it earlier. It's in part due some really good fortune. 2.15 ERA with a 4.29 Sierra. He is a fly ball guy, but the wind is blowing in today in Chicago. I don't love this game, but would I be shocked if the Cubs hit 3 homers and drop 10 runs? No. Sure, that can happen. Where do you have Chicago and Cincy?
I mean, this is probably from a team total perspective the least appealing game, but one of the least owned games, and it's a 6-game slate. The Cubs are too expensive. Like PCA is 5,400, Kyle Tucker's 6K, Suzuki's 4,700. I know they have cheap pieces in here somewhere. The Cubs are overpriced they don't even have a 4-team total. So I'm going to put the Cubs in Boston cooler because at least they're better than the Pirates, the Orioles, and the Twins. And it's not like the Cubs are going to be that owned. The thing is that the Reds, however, outside of Ellie De La Cruz, are kind of free. And if you run SimLabs, SimLabs absolutely adores the Reds today for their price and their ownership, even though they only have a 3.53 implied run total. I've been running SimLabs for the past hour during the show, and I get more of the Reds than any other team. So the Reds going Mocha float because I don't consider them a top tier team because of their team total and their ceiling. But the AI overlords say, hey, attack Cade Horton and pay for a cheap, because you could pay for a cheap red stack even with Ellie De La Cruz and still play like Robbie Ray and Ranger Suarez. Like you could do that. So vomit stack of the day, because I know someone was mentioning Jack that they were looking for vomit stack. So my vomit stack of the day is the Cincinnati Reds. And out of my 3 lineups, I will be playing a red stack.
You took my idea with the arms, the vomit arms, you turned it into a stack. That's interesting. That's pretty clever. I created vomit arms earlier in the show. I don't know if you recall.
Oh, okay. You great. And August 6, 2025 is the birthplace of vomit arms.
Copyright.
Copyright, okay.
I better not hear that in your seminar, in your 15-hour seminar, retroactively.
It's weird to Dean, it's weird listening to other podcasts and stuff in 2025.
Yeah.
People talk about vomit stacks like in football and in baseball, and it's like
no shout out.
Of course, it's a lot of people that I know in the industry or whatever. It's like I don't think their audiences know where that comes from, or play whoever you want. Like that. If I die today, Dean,
what would your epitaph be?
Right, at least I'll be noticed.
Yankees, Rangers. It's the last game on the slate. It's Carlos Rodon throwing baseballs against Jack Leiter. We have no lineups for either of these, right? I don't think so, unless they just dropped momentarily. Oh, we get the Rangers right there just seconds ago. Haggerty leading off. Seager, Semien, Garcia, Langford, Young, Higashioka, Smith, and Duran. Yeah, it makes sense that Peterson's not starting here versus the lefty. He may jump in later on in the game when Rodon is out. Okay, so is that the same thing we had projected? I think it is. I'm kind of eyeballing it right now, but I'm pretty sure that is what we anticipated. Okay, good job here by our lineups projection team, if I'm seeing that correctly. No Yankees just yet. We think of Judge coming back. We're projecting Grisham, Rice, Judge, Bellinger, Stanton, Jazz, McMahon, Volpe, Wells. They got shut out yesterday. by Eovaldi, whose spectacular season just continues, and people just don't seem to care. I feel like he's not terribly popular in DFS, and everybody's kind of like, hey, good job. We'll come back in 5 days. We'll adore you again. But, Yankees, Rangers, this is the hammer game. We have 2 more spots to fill here on the board. What do you got for me?
The Yankees are probably overpriced. I mean, they're very similar to the Phillies, very similar to the Mets, where, I mean, in order to stack with like Bellinger and Chisholm, Stan's 4,600, Judge is obviously 6,200. Like, they just don't project that well for being this expensive. So as a stack, not all that appealing, but they do have a ceiling. So they're going to be above the Purple Cow. You're not going to be in the Boston Cooler section, right? Teams that are basically Boston Cooler is teams that are overpriced for their team total, but they all have ceilings. They could be the team that scores 10 runs today, sure. If they're going to probably more so than the Pirates, the Orioles, and the Twins. But I'm not enamored by playing the Yankees as a full stack. Because remember, the tiers list is for stacks, not who do I want to play more of as a team. I do not mind playing Yankee players, Cubs, or Mets as one-offs, as 2-mans, as something like that. But as a full 5-man stack, they're just too expensive for their team total. And the Rangers, I'm going to put in Boston Cooler also. Carlos Rodon is going to be owned, but he's actually going to be less owned than Suarez, Ray, and Flaherty. So it makes the Rangers a little less appealing to stack because you don't get as much leverage. The thing is that Rodon, it's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, especially when it comes to walks. And one thing as a heuristic in DFS, if you're going to side with some team that you're going to take a shot on, I'd rather, I don't want to face a guy, like people always go, it's like, oh, I want to face the guy that strikes out 30% of batters, but also gives up a ton of home runs. You know, like someone like Scherzer back in the day, that type of guy. It's like, no, I want to face someone that ends up with walk problems. Because what ends up happening is that people get on base and it creates opportunities for more fantasy points for players down in the lineup. They get more plate appearances, so their ceiling goes up. So I'm willing, I mean, more so than the Pirates, the Orioles, and the Twins, to play some Texas Rangers today, especially the righties, because Rodon could easily give up a home run to any of these righties, right? Guys like Semien, Garcia, Langford, Jung, right? Even Haggerty, I guess, in the beginning, the opening in number 1 spot. I don't mind Seager lefty either, right, for a home run. And if Rodon walks 4 or 5 guys, I mean, 1 or 2 baseballs that go in the corner or over the fence, next thing you know, the Rangers have 4, 5, 6 runs on the board because of walk issues. So from a ceiling perspective, it's risk reward. The contrarian stack, I would say, is the Rangers. I mean, I don't put them in Mocha Float, but they're not that expensive, right? $3,600 for Haggerty, $4,100 for Semien. Garcia's $3,600, right? Jung is $31. Langford's $37. You could easily play a righty Ranger stack and still pay up for, Suarez, Ray, do a lineup like that, and just hope we get the bad Rodon today. And Rodon could strike out 7 guys and still walk 5 and give up 5 earned runs. I mean, like,
that's what happened last game, I believe.
Right. It's not like he can't do that. So why not? Or if anything, just use you could use Rangers as one-off. Rangers righties as one-offs. I think they're perfectly fine.
By the way, I'm going to get to in a second. You built something here. A little symmetry. Was this intentional, Blender, or just happened organically? Organic symmetry.
What?
Look at the board. I mean, look at the board.
Oh yeah, no. I try to pour one out for Squirrel Patrol, but during football season, Squirrel Patrol, we did the Friday show and we ranked the football teams. He always had a OCD thing or whatever that we had to kind of make it symmetrical. So I tend to pour one out for my homies by always trying to make tier lists by symmetry if possible.
Yeah, there's always one. You move one tier, nobody's going to notice. What's the difference? By the way, I'm gonna recap the board here in a second. But you mentioned walks and things like that, and a lot of pitchers that are kind of sort of somewhat close. So maybe if you need a tiebreaker, we have some extreme umpires today. Robbie Ray is an extreme hitters umpire. Robbie Ray, extreme hitters umpire, as well as Andrew Heaney. And there's a couple of extreme pitchers umpires that Jack Leiter is an extreme pitchers umpire, as does Ranger Suarez, as does Trevor Rogers, as does, if you figured it out, Carlos Rodon. Carlos Rodon, also extreme pitchers umpire. If you guys are joining us late, crunch time here in just a second. You're joining us late. Blender power ranked his favorite floats. Well, this isn't like a parade floats. This is just drink. These are all drinkable floats, right? These are floats. Is that
Supposedly, whatever. That's what Google
Allegedly.
AI told me. Yeah, basically.
Yeah. I've never actually seen a purple cow in person or a Boston cooler or a.
Those are just
mocha
names
float.
for like Boston Cooler is ginger. It's basically a ginger ale float with vanilla ice cream. Although it could be any ice cream. Like I've had that before. I just didn't know it was called a Boston Cooler. Just like if you had grape soda float, that's a purple cow. But do people call it that? Apparently, they supposedly call it that. So basically that's what this is. Basically, it's a way for me to say that I hate root beer.
The root beer slander and on all days, Blender, on all days.
And all day, root beer float day.
National Root Beer Float Day. Let them have their day. Say it tomorrow.
I will give you credit. Vanilla ice cream in root beer does make it taste better.
Who realized that? Who thought, like, this sucks. What if I added this? Oh, wow, this is pretty good. Who came up with that idea? Who's the first person? All right. So the first tier is Orange Creamsicle, all by themselves. It's the Detroit Tigers. Second tier is Mocha Float. You got San Fran, Philly, and Cincy. The most popular tier is right in the middle because Blender likes to ride the fence. It's the Boston Cooler tier. It's the Mets, the Cubs, the Yankees, and Texas. I'm reading Ross' quote round now on the screen. I was thinking, my brain went there too, but I wasn't going to say it. Purple Cow, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and the Twins. And all the way at the bottom, it's the Root Beer Float tier is hanging out with J-Ram and his terrible friends who are not good at baseball. All right, Kevin Roth, the newest sensation on TikTok. I don't know if you guys know it. The newest sensation on TikTok, it's Kevin Roth. He's dancing. He's giving weather. You got TJ Zwarych, Erik Beimfohr. Let's do it. Let's bring in crunch time right now.
Doppler boy up in the spot. Yo! Check the clouds, what the weather got. Let's go. Kevin Roth on the beat, that's hot. Okay. Rain delay, man, we dodging that lot. Doppler boy, Doppler boy, Doppler boy. Whoa, I check the radar, then I go. Zoom. DFS cash flow, that's for sure. Cha-ching. Got that green screen glowing like whoa. Hopped on RotoGrinders forecast tight. Kevin Roth say plays the late tonight. I pivot that stack, I take flight. No rain risk, now my bill just right. I ain't guessing, nah, I'm precision. What? Weather edge turning dimes to a mission. Let's go. Roof open, nah, that's a decision. Kevin got me winning, that's straight intuition. Doppler boy up in the spot. Hey. Check the clouds, what the weather got. Woo. Kevin Roth on the beat, that's hot. Fire. Rain delay, man, we dodging that lot. Zoom, zoom. Doppler boy, Doppler boy, Doppler boy. Whoa, I check the radar, then I go. DFS cash flow, that's for sure. For sure. Got that green screen glowing like whoa. Yo,
Oh, man, that was amazing. That would be huge on TikTok, Roth. You got to bust out Doppler boy on TikTok, Roth.
I do. I'm already doing the TikTok dances. You add in a little Doppler boy, and the likes are going way up.
Speaking of the AI overlords, I believe the AI overlords actually came up with that song. And shout out to producer Steve who put that all together. So well done. It always gets me every time. You don't overuse it, but he picks his spots.
Yeah.
I know, Roth, you had enough, but after about
I
couple
can't
bars,
stand
but,
the first time I saw it, I had enough, but it's starting to grow on me a little bit.
Yeah. How are you, Roth? How's everything otherwise? Everything good?
It's wonderful. Big shout out to TJ, who I assume filled in for me over the past few days. Got out to California visiting my brother. It was like 65 and sunny every day. There's no mosquitoes. You just go outside. You just go outside.
What's it like out there?
Oh God, it's incredible. Yeah. You should check it out one day.
I've heard about it. I read stories.
You open a door and you walk out, and then you close the door behind you, and you're in a whole new world.
Did you have a Boston cooler when you were out there in California?
Yeah, a little Boston cooler or something. A purple cow. You know.
Do these exist there, Eric? Are you aware of these drinks? Is a Blender just making stuff up?
Oh, well, I would not put it past Blender to be making some of these things up for sure. I never heard of a Boston cooler. That's where my mind went to the gutter as well. I went straight to, I don't know if you guys watched New Girl. There's a scene where Schmidt has his own apartment and is doing that like, here's the ouch, you're on my hair. Here's the, the whatever. Like he goes through a whole bit of that exact of what you called out, Roth.
Yeah. TJ? Have they made their way up to Canada? Are you aware of these drinks?
I'm not aware of the drinks, but I'm aware of what Eric's talking about as New Girl is my favorite sitcom. But
you guys have never had ice cream sodas before? It seems like
you guys are being a little
the
bit.
names of the things that you drank when you were 8 years old.
You guys
Your
are
mom
being
put
a
ice
little
cream and
bit
soda.
I'm from St. Louis. I don't know what a Boston
J3
cooler is.
In our wonderful J3 in the YouTube that his ex-girlfriend was given purple cows and what was the other one? And
Boston Coolers.
And Boston Coolers out around the town. And
Oh no,
they're not together anymore. And so, like,
sorry, J3.
We told the story. We in chat. We felt his pain. We empathized. We were there with our guy J3. Like, we give purple cows to everyone. And it just feels a little bit insensitive with how he supports the show for you guys to be rubbing it in like that.
Yeah,
true.
Dean.
Yeah. We were
he
unaware.
loves you, Dean, and you're just burying our guy.
No, J3's your
I'm
boy.
just asking
Dean.
questions. No, I was just asking questions. It was a personality clash, I think, is what was the issue was between the two of them. We talked about it privately. Blender, you got anything else?
Also, personality
No,
clash.
the problem with their personality was she kept giving everyone purple cows.
Blender, anything else before you step aside and get out of
I
here?
just want to know whether or not that poll crunch time on whether or not root beer is disgusting or they love.
You lost. You lost the poll. Is root beer awful?
I'm 3-0.
26%. Yes.
What does everyone like about root beer? What about that taste?
I don't really like any kind of sodas, pops, carbonated drinks, but I'm not like relative to all of them. I think root beer is totally fine.
I haven't had a soda type beverage since I was like 13 years old. It's water and beer, and that's it. That is.
What was the last one you remember having at 13?
I used to be down into like the orange Coke. Orange Coke was kind of fire. Like orange soda. Yeah.
Like a slice?
Yeah, those were pretty good.
Slice.
But
they still make slice?
I don't know. Is that still? I'm not sure if it's in St. Louis. I can't speak to that. But
no, not that I know of.
I don't know if it's hanging out with Mellow Yellow somewhere, I'm sure. Yeah. All right. Myself and Blender, we're going to see ourselves out. TJ and Kevin Roth and Erik Beimfohr, you got them for, oh boy, what is it, 35 minutes? I think it's 30. Is my math wrong? I'm not sure. What time is first pitch? 12:35, right? Oh, so you guys got plenty of time. 45 minutes.
45
to
minutes.
knock out. Yeah, get comfortable.
You got Roth excited.
Kevin, yeah. Can Kevin make it till first pitch? That's the cliffhanger. Roth, it's all yours.
Likely no, but let's dive into it. Ladies and gents, you know the drill. It's crunch time. It's two of the sharpest minds in the biz hanging out with us. Beimfohr in the house. What up, man? How are you?
I'm wonderful. The chat is absolutely on fire. The sexual innuendo Wednesday morning edition of Crunch Time is not what I expected when we logged on here today, but I am enjoying it nonetheless. The chat is on fire.
I wasn't expecting we were going to be talking about the old orange, what is it, purple cow and Boston chillers, Boston coolers. But here we go. TJ Zwarych in the house knows a thing or two about a Boston cooler. What's up, man? How are you?
Had a few Boston coolers back in college. A few purple cows. Few purple cows as soon as I got out of it. But I kind of find it a little bit audacious, Roth, that you. I'm not going to believe you if you deny it, but you egregiously pinpointed all the days that it was a 7:10 lock start instead of a 7:05 lock start, and to take those days off.
Ooh.
And you were just like, "Ooh, extra 5 minutes on the show, can't do it. Let's sub TJ in today." And now here you are. It's an early show. It's a 12:35 lock, and
I'm back.
Behold, you're back.
Coincidence? I think not. There's also essentially zero weather issues other than the freaking what was that stupid game they did? The NASCAR game.
And that wasn't on the main slate, so that was actually perfect. I didn't have to worry about that at all. You picked very great days to visit your brother.
It went pretty well. Hey, I do want to note, Slice Soda is back on the market after being discontinued by Pepsi in the mid-2000s. The brand was acquired by Suja Life in 2024 and has relaunched with a focus on gut health.
Oh,
it's like a kombucha now.
Yeah. Okay. So there you have it. It is back, but not in the form that it was previously. Hey, we have talked about just about everything but baseball so far today. And maybe it's time to dive into this slate a little bit. No real weather issues to discuss, so I think we can kind of put weather on the back burner, the side burner. I'll monitor just like the lowest chance of a late start in a couple spots, but there's nothing you have to be worried about. Do whatever you are going to do, regardless of what you are going to do. And that means pitchers, cash game, bats, anything, everywhere. It's all good. Let's get into the slate a little bit. TJ, you want to lead us off?
Yeah, we got 6 games. It's nice and small, and there's actually a lot of really good pitching on, considering it's a 6-game slate. And we also have a lot of really concentrated projected ownership at pitching right now between 3 guys in particular. And so it's a pretty clear, like, these are all the top options at pitching. And then as soon as you get to bats, spread out a little bit more. We got a couple teams in good spots, but nobody really stands out as like a must play situation. I did drop Spidey Bomb number 1, and that was Kerry Carpenter for Detroit. And they are probably, you know, the top offense on the slate. They got the highest implied run total. I did realize we're already over 75 likes. So that means it's time for Spidey Bomb number 2. And I'm actually sticking in that game and going with Matt Wallner plus 400. So we got Kerry Carpenter plus 400, Matt Wallner plus 400. Third one coming at 100 likes. So keep hitting that like button. It's free content on a Wednesday morning, guys. Hit that like button for us. It's I get that it's tough if you're watching on your phone. On your computer, it's easy. You take your mouse, you slide it over, give it a little click. If you're on your phone or a tablet, it's tough. You got to hit the little X button. You got to hide that chat to make the like button show up. So then you give it a little click. Keep hitting it for some more Spidey Bombs. But outside of Detroit, what kind of stands out, you know, there's a couple other teams which we'll get to. Philly, San Francisco, the Mets, Yankees, all kind of hovering around like a 4 implied run total. Nothing that's overly exciting. And so for me, I'm taking a very specific approach at pitcher today. I am playing 150 lineups. Now, again, in cash games, in maybe even single entry, I would be taking a different approach. I would be pitching the guys who project really well and are also going to have a lot of ownership. In tournaments today, I'm just Xing out a bunch of these guys that are picking up a bunch of ownership because I think there are a plethora of options on the slate that can match their output.
Okay, very good. Do you want to tell me the guys that you're Xing out? Was that just a general overview there?
Yeah, that was a general overview. So switching into pitching, I think for cash, you play 2 of Jack Flaherty, Robbie Ray, Ranger Suarez. Easy peasy. 2 of those 3. Doesn't really matter which ones. Flaherty and Ray are the cheapest. So if you want to go that route, that is totally fine. If you like Suarez better than one of them, or you just have the salary and you don't want to leave that salary on the table, totally fine. Just go with one of those 3. I'm Xing them out all in tournaments. I'm not playing any of them just because high projected ownership they're going for. So my top option is Carlos Rodon, just because he's coming in a much lower own than the other 3 of them. Ray and Flaherty, I do actually think can get beat up a little bit. Suarez, I don't think he does, but just at 9,400, I just think he could probably end up with 20 points and other people beat him. And so I'm going without the 3 of those guys today in tournaments. My favorite option is Rodon. Struggling with some walks a little bit, but he also has the big K upside. And then I'm just mixing in almost all of these other guys in solid spots. So I hate taking pitchers against the Cubs, but Andrew Abbott's a guy that's just going to hunt for fly balls, and the wind is blowing in Wrigley, so hopefully none of them go out of the park. Jack Leiter facing the Yankees, he's been much better as of late, and the Yankees have been terrible recently. So let's take a shot on a cheap Jack Leiter at low ownership. David Peterson's going to be my next favorite guy after Carlos Rodon. The Guardians are just awful. I have Rodon as my highest own and Peterson as my second highest own. And then I'm also mixing in Cade Horton and Gavin Williams. Williams, it's a terrible matchup, but we've seen some huge upsides from him. Horton, I don't really like, but the wind's blowing in at Wrigley, so let's give it a shot.
Sure. Let's talk about FanDuel real quick, TJ, before we kick it over to Beimfohr. You get one pitcher there. I don't know if pricing's different. I don't know if you're planning on being as contrarian there, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so for FanDuel cash, I would go Flaherty, but I think Robbie Ray is totally fine too. Either one of those options. I wouldn't go Suarez just because of that price difference. He's quite a bit more expensive on FanDuel, up at 10.7K. So Flaherty or Ray from a cash perspective. And then I would just play basically anybody other than Flaherty in tournaments on FanDuel. Like Flaherty is going to be coming in 50% owned over there. I would just play literally anyone else.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Eric, I want to bring you in. Interesting take from TJ where he's like, these are the 3 pitchers. You pick 2 of them for cash. And by the way, I'm playing none of those 3 in tournaments. I don't know if I've seen that really all season long. Are you as contrarian and different as TJ is getting today?
Probably not quite to that level, though. I think I agree with like the general sentiment, because the kind of chalkier offensive spots I really, really like. And like TJ mentioned, there are a bunch of good to suitable pitcher, above average, like playable pitchers, I guess I would say, that are not all going to be very popular. And all you really need is, Flaherty to score 20, right? Robbie Ray to score 18 or something. And then you're totally fine at pitcher. I agree with pretty much everything he said in terms of some of the targets that he's got. I would sub out, for me, in like terms of my player pool, I'm subbing out Jack Leiter because I quite like the Yankees today. Famous last words, the Yankees in a death spiral.
Bounce back spot.
Yeah, but bounce back spot for the Yankees. So I actually quite like them. And the pitcher I would sub in is Trevor Rogers. This is the slappy pick of the day.
My bad. I forgot to mention Rogers. I'm playing a lot of Rogers too.
Trevor Rogers is my, if there was a Jeffrey Springs of the slate, it is Trevor Rogers. I have long been a Trevor Rogers slappy, and I am a fan of his talent. It went disastrously when the Orioles traded for him, but he's back now, and he has been awesome for them in the last few starts. To go and do specifically what he did last start, 8 shutout innings with 8 strikeouts against the Cubs, I was like, I played him the slate before, and he was quite good. But then, I was like, it's a good spot. Is he going to continue to do this? I'm still cautious. And to do that against the Cubs, I think kind of shows he's pretty back. The Phillies are not an awesome spot, though. I don't hate targeting the Phillies with lefties, especially with lower owned lefties, because their best hitters are left-handed, Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper. Of course, those guys can hit left-handed pitching, but it's still the worst side of their platoon and the best side for Rogers. After them, like Trey Turner, Nick Castellanos, like Harrison Bader's hitting 5th for the Phillies. Like the lineup is not that good. Like we're talking about like Weston Wilson, Edmundo Sosa. It's not that good. So I'm digging a little bit deep, like TJ is at pitcher, because I just don't know how I can pass like the Tigers and the Giants and some of these kind of chalkier one-offs with the bats today, because there's just not that many like bad pitchers going. So I'm digging a little bit deeper at pitcher.
Okay, very good. Did get a third Spidey bomb in. Cody Clemens at plus 480. If you want more Spidey bombs, it's pretty easy. All you need to do is hit that like button for us, which you should be doing anyways.
Morning shows, we'll do them every 25 likes instead of every 50, because we're feeling nice, we're feeling kind. So 125 likes, we got a 4th one. 150 likes, we got a 5th one. Keep hitting that like button.
Easy peasy. Beimfohr, got a question about FanDuel here. Let me scroll up just to make sure. We Major 72 says, how low can you go in pitcher in a FanDuel tournament? So what is the cheapest guy you would play in a FanDuel GPP?
Oof. Cade Horton. I don't know that I would play him. It's a little bit trickier on FanDuel. I mean, Flaherty is the cheapest among all these guys we talked about here. I do like Ranger Suarez a lot. Maybe.
Where's Rogers on FanDuel?
10.5.
Oh, what? How is he 7-7 on DK?
Exactly. What? FanDuel has like flipped the order of the pricing. I think you can play. I think you can play Leiter or Cade Horton at 8,300 and 7,800, but I'm a little less interested in going lower on FanDuel.
I was going to say the same thing. I was like, maybe Gavin Williams at 89, but at that point, why not just get a little bit more to get a, if you want to get different, play David Peterson instead of Ray or Flaherty.
Yeah, Metro Boom 808 says I like Peterson there on FanDuel. So yeah, I got a little bit of support there on that. Okay, let's flip it and officially talk about some of the bats. We kind of teased it a little bit, but Beimfohr, Why don't you walk us through your favorite stacks today?
Yeah, this is where it stands out a lot to me. Like there was a bunch of pitchers that we talked about, like even some of the ones like TJ mentioned he's not playing. I'm not sure that I'm playing. Like I agree. Andrew like asked about Peterson. I like Peterson. I like Rogers. I think you can play. I don't want to play Gavin Williams, but if something forced me into it, I think he's playable. Same with Leiter. There are other stacks that are playable. Like I do like the low-owned Yankees. I do like things like the Cubs in tournaments. But man, it's so hard to pass on the Tigers today. They just stand out. Like above all, I think you can find ways to play Tiger stacks that are not all the single most popular bats. The Twins have gone full Utah Jazz on the season. Okay. They're not interested in winning. They traded away every good player that they have. I'm waiting for like Royce Lewis has the Lauri Markkanen like fake injury, coming up here where he just gets shut down the rest of the way. The Twins have no interest in winning, and they're running out a disastrous bullpen game. It's not going to go well. And the Tigers are very good. Spoiler, one of the best teams in all of baseball, and their offense rocks. It's cheap. It's not even that expensive to stack them, so you can get like some of these expensive pitchers. The Tigers are just the very clear standout to me. And then number 2, Andrew Heaney was pulling a bunch of wizardry for the first. He was just doing insane things for the first couple months of the season. I specifically remember targeting him and just tilting my face off as he would, make his way through 6 innings with like 6 hits or something and a bunch of flyouts. That luck has worn out a little bit for Heaney here over the course of the last stretch. The Giants offense has been upgraded and it's pretty solid. There's also some value pieces on the Giants bit of a park upgrade. I mean, Pittsburgh is not an awesome place to hit, but it's certainly better than San Francisco. And the Pirates are also quite bad. The bullpen is not very good. And I think we've kind of seen the last of a competent Andrew Heaney. So those 2 teams are really, really the top of the board for me.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. TJ, your favorite stacks, please.
Getting a new build a lineup set right now as I just want to adjust a few things. There was no Kyle Tucker for the Cubs, so I wanted to make sure I got him out of my pool. And I actually bumped up Andrew Abbott a little bit because there is no Kyle Tucker. And then in terms of stacks today, I'm right on the same page with Eric. Detroit is my favorite. They're by far my favorite today. I don't think I'm going to have more than about 10% of any team in stacks in 150 lineups, except for the Tigers. I'll probably have, 20% full Tiger stacks at 150 lineups. So that means about 30 Tiger stacks in 150 lineups. Killing time a little bit because it's at 145 lineups of 150. And so I'll be able to tell you exactly who my tops are. But Detroit, number 1, San Francisco, number 2, and Philadelphia, number 3. And those, that is what my exposure came up as. And that is actually about what I would have ranked it as before the fact as well. Detroit 1, San Fran 2, Philadelphia 3. I do really like Trevor Rogers. And so I'm playing a lot of him too, but Philadelphia just has a lot of high powered bats. So I'm taking some shots on them today. After that, it's kind of a group of 4 teams, the Yankees, the Mets, the Reds, the Cubs as the next on the list for me. They're not as big of priorities as Detroit, San Francisco, and Philadelphia, but playing 150 lineups and with it only being a 6-game slate, I think the only team I X'd out is Cleveland. I don't want to play any Cleveland against David Peterson, great ground ball guy, not somebody you want to stack up against. But I'm playing Texas against Rodon. I'm playing Minnesota against Flaherty. I'm playing Baltimore against Suarez just because it's a 6-game slate. Anything can happen at this point. So Detroit, San Francisco, Philadelphia, my priorities with Detroit is the clear 1. Yankees, Mets, Reds, Cubs, the tier 2. And then Pirates, Twins, Baltimore, Texas, tier 3.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff, guys. Let's go around the horn, talk position by position. Where are we at in the Spidey Bombs, TJ, here? We got our third for, 75 likes that got us the third?
100 likes got us the third, so we'll drop the fourth at 125. We're at 113, so 12 likes away. If we can get up to 150, I do have 2 more total. So I got 5 Spidey Bombs if the people can get up to 150 likes, and they are the 5 players that I bet on for this morning slate.
Okay. I like our chances. I'm actually going to pull up the YouTube right now while we dive into a little catcher talk. Make sure I smash that like button. I'm not just telling you what to do. I'm in there. I'm in the trenches with you. I want the Spidey Bombs too. TJ, what are we doing at catcher?
Catcher today, switching over. Ben Rice is going to be my highest owned guy. Like ever since he's gotten that catcher eligibility for the Yankees, he's just become one of the top options anytime he's facing a right-handed pitcher. So Ben Rice, my top option. But for the most part at catcher today, like I'm just playing guys in stacks outside of Rice, who isn't even that big of a priority, especially for his price. There's literally nobody at this position you have to play. If I can afford Rice in cash, that's who I'm going with. If I can't, Carson Kelly. But if you want to full out punt and just play, Torrens or one of these guys that is literally just 2K flat in cash today, Torrens or Knitzer or Marchand or Alex Jackson, like, sure, go for it. Because there's just really nothing that stands out aggressively at this position. If you can afford Rice, great. In tournaments, play whoever's in your stack or just full out punt it.
Okay. Beimfohr, is it Rice or whoever for you?
Yeah, Rice is like against right-handed pitching, like an elite hitter. And to be able to get that at catcher, I think you can afford 4,500. Like he's playable on FanDuel too. Like he's just a good play. I mean, he's not a catcher essentially, right? It's like getting a first baseman at catcher. So he's definitely the top play. Though Dylan Dingler stands out a ton to me. I'm kind of shocked. I'll be interested to see what the ownership ends up looking like. Like him as the fourth highest projected owned catcher seems shocking. I would take the over in terms of him being higher than the fourth highest owned catcher, but at 3,100 on
DraftKings being the highest owned,
and I'm not sure Jeffers could possibly be higher owned than Dingler either. But at 3,100 in those Tiger stacks, you can fill your catcher spot. If you don't get Rice, I do like Dingler. And if you're playing the Yankees and maybe you want to play Rice at first base or something, Austin Wells is 3,100 and also a very good hitter against right-handed pitching. And then if you really need to dig deep, Andrew Kisner is $2,000 flat. I can't believe he's back in the major leagues, but he's on the Giants, and that's another one of my priority stacks, and he's very, very cheap.
Yeah. Okay. First base.
Not so great. So why you can play Ben Rice at first base is because it isn't so awesome here. Rafael Devers, even in a lefty, Haney is not especially awesome against left-handed hitters. I don't love playing Devers at chalk against a left-handed pitcher, but I think he's near the top of the list. My favorite play is on the Tigers, Spencer Torkelson, also just like really affordable, 4,400 in that Tiger stack. Those guys stand out the most to me here. And then Kobe Mayo, if you don't love this, you want to play some form of leverage on that. There's some options, I think, like Pirates leverage against Robbie Ray, some Orioles leverage against Ranger Suarez. I don't love, but if you're needing to save in certain spots, you can play it on if you're not playing Suarez or you're not playing, one of the chalky pictures of Flaherty or something like that, you can play one of these cheap guys on those offenses, home run hunt against that would be right. How does Flaherty score 18? How does Ranger Suarez score 16 or whatever? It's you get that 3-run home run or something from one of these cheaper guys that's really, really low owned.
Very good. TJ, bring us to first. I just saw that latest Spidey Bomb drop. Then what do you know? He's a first baseman.
Spidey Bomb number 4 is my favorite first baseman today. Plus 375 for home run odds. It's Pete Alonso. He's been red hot lately and just projecting for, half the ownership of Rafael Devers in a lefty-lefty matchup. I like Devers today. I'm going to be underweight, though. I'm not going to have 20+% of him. I really like Cody Clemens, another Spetty bomb. And now usually I would say, look, Clemens has first and second base eligibility. Play him at second. Don't play him at first. But first isn't that strong today, and I actually like second base a lot. And so I'm totally fine with playing him at first base as well. I like the Torkelson call, getting to a lot of him. Like I said, getting to some Devers and some Bryce Harper, but I'll be underweight on both of them. Same with Spencer Steer. I think he's fine, but I'll be underweight. And so, my main guy here is Pete, followed by Cody Clemens and Spencer Torkelson.
Very good. Let's go to second base, which you said you actually like more than first. What do you do in a second?
So Jazz Chisholm projecting for super low ownership today, and I'm just loading up on Jazz. I don't really get why that nobody ever wants to play him. I feel like it's one of the reasons why Ketel Marte always has some pretty low ownership, just because nobody wants to spend up at second base. But Jazz is my top play at the position. I really like this cheap Pittsburgh guy leading off, Liover Peguero. Call me a sucker for a guy who gets called up and has 3 home runs, and then they bump him to the leadoff spot. Like, that just sounds like that I understand that's a bit of a fish play, but that's just something I want to do. Like, a guy is young, he gets called up, hits 3 bombs, and then they were like, hey, we need more of this guy. Let's put him leadoff. That's something I'm interested in. And so I'm getting to Peguero a little bit at the leadoff spot today. Cody Clemens. Casey Schmidt is one of my favorite plays on the slate, batting 5th today for the Giants. We talked about the Giants being one of the best stacks on the slate. Really like Casey Schmidt. And then as like a contrarian spend up, I don't mind some Jordan Westberg.
Okay. Did get some news in here from Dean. He says, I don't see it officially yet, but it looks like our guy Trevor Larnach was scratched today. And that's just according to some official MLB tweet. So if you have them in your lineups, get them out of your lineups. And once it is officially official, we'll make sure to let you know that. Beimfohr, what are you doing in a second?
I just want to say, if he's out, it's not like he's special, but that Twins lineup is just so bad.
It was already bad, and now
yeah,
it's
and he's
worse.
one of their better hitters.
Right.
Granted, he was hitting 7th, but still, gosh, it's absolutely terrible. I agree. Second base. I mean, I much prefer second base to first base, which is kind of crazy. Glaber at the top is super popular, but again, he's in my Tiger stacks. If we're Xing out all the kind of chalky pitchers, I have no problem playing a Glaber Torres. At second, Casey Schmidt would be my second favorite, like TJ mentioned. But my favorite spend up, like if I can go get him, Jazz is. I really don't understand why. Although, did you guys see Jazz get picked up, doubled off of first base the other day? And a pop up to second base, and he's on first, and he got doubled off.
So here, I didn't see the camera angle, but my thought was that maybe the guy who popped up wasn't running to first, and he was worried the guy was going to drop it and do the double play rule. Because in order to avoid the infield fly, you need to actually run to first. So I think that's what was happening, but I never saw the angle to see if the guy who popped it up was running to first.
And then the first base coach got just roasted by Aaron Boone also for, I don't know if whether he was not coaching up Jazz or not coaching up the guy running to first base. The Yankees, great vibes, as he says he likes the Yankee stacks today and likes Jazz, the most brain dead Dylan Brooks ass MLB player that there is. But he hits for power, and he's a high upside option. So I do like him. And then I don't know anything about Christian Koss for the Giants. I'll be fully honest, but he's $2,300 at second base and third base, which second base is a little bit solid, but third base, which we're going to, is not so good. So just another cheap bat in a good stack.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get into that third base. Beimfohr, what are we doing there?
Yeah, very difficult to not play Matt Chapman today against Andrew Heaney at 4,300. Just kind of always underpriced Matt Chapman at a really weak position. Like Mark Vientos is showing some signs of life, but much prefer him against a lefty. I know he's cheap, but like the top, like Josh Young, like the corpse of Royce Lewis, Otto Kemp, it's not very good. So Colt Keith on those Tiger stacks and Matt Chapman are the clear standouts if I got to go down. Yeah, the Christian Koss or Zach McKinstry is interesting on the on your Tiger stacks at low ownership, right? Like moving down to the Koss or the McKinstry or something in those chalky stacks for a cheap, a fairly affordable guy who's also not going to be owned.
Yeah, very good. TJJ3 says we want a 5th and final Spidey bomb. It's not too hard. All we got to do is hit the like button. We're what? I don't know, 20 likes away, maybe something like that.
25 away. We got to get up to 150 likes. I'll challenge the people, but I don't think they can do it, Roth. I don't think.
You call them out and they'll do it. I already hit the thumbs up. I would help them out, but you've already got my like. I got us to 125.
Right there. It's like.
Yeah, there it is. I see the button. Okay, let's see. TJ, what are you doing at third?
Matt Chapman for me here as well. I'm going to like Matt Chapman and then a player we're going to get to in the outfield. I mean, no sense teasing it. He's Spidey Bomb number 1, Kerry Carpenter. I'm just absolutely loading up on today. Those are the two guys that feel ridiculously underpriced for the roles that they're in today. They're my 2 favorite bats on the slate. So Matt Chapman, love him today, getting to about 30%. After that, I'm getting this like some cheap punt Mark Vientos, but if I'm not playing Vientos or Chapman, I'm just playing whoever's in my stack.
Yeah, easy enough. Shortstop, TJ.
This is a weird spot today. Like, I'm getting to a decent amount of Ellie De La Cruz just because like he's the only like spend up that I like of the group. Willie Adames is my favorite overall. Just a little bit underpriced. We really like that giant stack. He's going to be chalky. He's the clear cash game play, but I do like worry about Willie Adames to that ownership. My favorite tournament pivot of a guy that's not going to get very much ownership today is Francisco Lindor. I think he's going to get forgotten a little bit with like people either spend up for Trey Turner or Ellie, or they'll just go down to a Willie Adames. So I like Lindor quite a bit. Trey Turner is the one I like the least of that group. He's just $1,000 more expensive than he should be. Outside of that, you know, some guys in stacks, but Peguero, De La Cruz, Adames, Lindor, Turner will occupy about 70% of my shortstop position.
Yeah. All right. Beimfohr short.
The exact same names that TJ just mentioned. I also want to just at least add Dansby, Swanson. I understand there's a light breeze coming in at Wrigley, which is not ideal, but Andrew Abbott is a fly ball pitcher, and Dansby has not been as bad as I think it appears this season, particularly still quite good against left-handed pitching. 362 expected WOBA, 237 expected ISO. It's like pretty solid for Dansby, a little bit worse against right-handed pitching. And just nobody's really playing the Cubs. I know I mentioned the Yankees, but I don't know that I want to full stack the Cubs necessarily, but a couple of one-off pieces. Like they're still just too good to be completely unowned. Honestly, like Andrew Abbott is not. This is not Tarek Skubal. You know, the Cubs are just too good for this low of ownership, so deserve at least a little bit. And shortstop's not very good. Like 25% Willie Adames makes my skin crawl. So some of these other guys look pretty good.
Okay. TJ says not playing Chapman today is like listening to the evil Kevin Roth for all your weather need. Oh, the other Kevin Roth meteorologist. That took me. Beimfohr, did you know that I am not the most famous Kevin Roth, who is a meteorologist?
I did not know this.
Yeah, it's terrible. The lead meteorologist for the Weather Channel is named Kevin Roth. So all the time, my family would like send me articles and be like, "I saw you featured in the Weather Channel." It's the good one. I'm still like toiling in Mississippi, starting my career.
I was just looking, and I was just trying to find them on Twitter.
Yeah,
and I find this. I was looking. I was like, "Is there a
you have more followers,
Kevin Roth?" Because I see this meteorologist for ABC 13 in Houston, and then I realized it's just a different you.
Hello, hey there, hi, hey there, hi there, ho there. Yeah, I have many hats, fam, many hats. Let's get to the outfield. Beimfohr, what are we doing there?
I just want to say, just a quick side story. We were going to be taking my niece, who's 4 years old, to the Cardinals. She wanted to go to the Cardinals game for her birthday. And I'm texting Roth. It was several Sundays ago because it was bad weather, like very bad weather in St. Louis. And we didn't want to take her amidst an insane thunderstorm. And we kept going back and forth. And then we decided not to go to the game. And we go to this like adult arcade, like kind of like Dave and Buster's ish type place or whatever, to take her to go play some games because it's storming outside. And then when she shows up, it is sunny as hell, and the Cardinals game started, and we're watching. The game is on the big screen at the place, and she's like, "So why didn't we go to the game?" You know, she's all upset, and I'm like, "Well, it's my weatherman friend who works with me, you know, that screwed it all up."
And I texted you. I was like, dude, that's my bad. I owe you a beer. I'm sorry.
But obviously it did work out. The storm came like in like the third inning or something like that. The game didn't finish until like 10 p.m. So it worked out, and I got to eventually brag on you. Yeah. But it was a very fun. I was like, I'm going to use now moving forward. When you screw it up, I'm going to use it. It's the Weather Channel guy. It's the Kevin Roth from the Weather Channel.
It was the other Kevin Roth who blew that one. So as it turned out, you owe me a beer for saving me. At first, I thought I owed you one, but now as it worked out. Pretty good.
We were exchanging text message beers over the course of the entire afternoon based on who was right. But anyway, the outfield. I agree. Like, if Kerry Carpenter is actually 18% owned, that's ridiculous at 3,700 in this spot. I think, especially in smaller fields or higher stakes tournaments, you will be higher than that. But he's just a smash. I love the chalky outfielders, honestly, on this slate. Helio Ramos hitting leadoff against Andrew Heaney is awesome. If you can afford Aaron Judge, that guy's pretty good at hitting baseballs very hard and very far. And I think you can probably afford him Though the outfield spots are pretty precious. Riley Green, I remember it will stick with me forever. Kirk Dees said whenever the Tigers are popular, just play Riley Green because he's never as chalky as the other guys. And that slate, it didn't work out very well, but he's like the priced up version of all these other Tigers outfielders, and he may fall just a little bit, projecting at 13%. He's bin outstanding this year. Seiya Suzuki, another Cub that I think deserves some ownership, just destroys left-handed pitching. And then I wanted to, in like your chalkier stacks, finding some options that are maybe not so chalky. Matt Vierling is actually in the lineup today for the Tigers against a righty, which doesn't always happen. And he's maybe not the absolute best player, but he's very cheap and completely unowned because everybody's playing Carpenter, Green, right? Colt Keith, Torkelson, etc. There's some Tigers options within those stacks that are lower owned, and Vierling is in the outfield for very, very cheap and very low ownership.
Yeah. Okay. TJ, you called the people out. You challenged the people. You said they couldn't do it. You said there's no way we're going to get a fifth Spidey bomb. But where are we now?
4 more likes. The people have stepped up to the plate. If we get 4 more people hitting the like button, we got Spidey bomb number 5.
Okay. Well, you challenge them, and this would be like, I don't want them to come. This would be like being down 3-0 in a series, coming back, making it 3-3. And then failing if they can't get there. We need to, at this point, we need to 150. You can't stop at 148. So make sure you hit those thumbs up. Let's get to 150. TJ, walk the people through the outfield. What do I see?
Whoa, big jump, 158. We got a lot of people hitting it. This is what we're looking for. Shout out to the people. Shout out to the chat. I'm happy to be wrong. You guys rock. Spidey Bob number 5. We've talked about him, and you can get him for plus 400. It's Matt Chapman. Love this spot for him today. So we got Kerry Carpenter, Matt Wallner, Cody Clemens, Pete Alonso, Matt Chapman.
A lot of those people are going yard today. I think at least 3 of those people are going yard today, TJ.
Look, we're already at 164. If we can get up to 175, I'll drop another one. We'll just keep them coming.
Love it. What are we doing in the outfield?
Kerry Carpenter is my top bat on the slate, and he's going to be my highest owned option. After that, I got 3 guys each at 20, or 4 guys each at 20%. Riley Green, Kyle Schwarber, Aaron Judge, Heliot Ramos. Love all of them today. They're really strong plays. Carpenter and Ramos are the 2 that are like for sure cash game options today, I think. And then like if you can afford Judge, you make Judge your 3rd one. If not, you can go elsewhere. But I really like Matt Wallner going up against Jack Flaherty. I took him to hit a home run. I like him in DFS as well. He's nice and cheap. Outside of that, it's mostly stack guys. Like I'm getting some Cody Bellinger, PCA, Seiya Suzuki, Wensiel Perez. But I think those are mostly in stacks for their teams.
Okay. Give me a PCA bomb in the wind, into the wind. I know generally I'm the first guy to say, don't bet home runs in Wrigley when winds are blowing in, but winds are light and they're blowing in from right, not straightaway center. Give me a little PCA bomb as my my Batman bomb of the day, my weather bomb of the day. Beimfohr, the people want some home run calls. You got 5 of them scrolling.
You can get them for Roth.
What's that?
Plus 600 you can get them for, because it's against the lefty as well.
No, it might just be a bad choice. I don't know. I don't know enough to be giving out bombs. We got 5 Spidey bombs from TJ. We may end up getting a 6th, but Beimfohr, the people want your home run picks as well. So if you could give me 2 or 3, that would be glorious.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Seiya Suzuki for my Cub in Wrigley that does get one out here, despite the light breeze. I mean, we're talking, I know it's wind at Wrigley. I understand the power, but it's 8 miles an hour. Like someone can hit a home run in this spot here. And then we're going to go Spencer Torkelson and Trent Grisham. Trent Grisham comes back. Remember the days of like Trent Grisham got up to like $6,000 on DraftKings and was hitting leadoff or whatever, and we were still talking about him every day. Well, he's 3,800, still hitting leadoff for the Yankees, and no one's playing him. So, I get it, but I think he stands out in tournaments, and he's going to hit a home run today.
Very good. Okay. We want to answer some QQs. I like to start in the Discord. That's where the coolest of the kids hang out.
Spidey Bomb 6, Roth. People are 175 likes. We'll get 7 if they get up to 200. But I really don't think they can do that. That is crazy. That would be crazy. I don't think they can do it. We will see. But
Doubling
Derek
down on the
Carpenter,
challenge.
plus 400. Matt Wallner plus 400. Cody Clemens plus 480. Pete Alonso plus 375. Matt Chapman plus 400. And we are adding Riley Green plus 475. I do have one other player that I bet on today that I wasn't going to include in the Spidey Bombs. I will include in the Spidey Bombs if we get up to 7 likes.
Ooh,
200 likes, sorry, for the 7 Spidey Bombs.
7 Spidey Bomb. Yeah, 200 likes. Okay. We got some questions coming in while the people are finding that like button on their mobile phones and smashing it. We want to make sure we answer some questions as well. I like to start in the Discord, and we've got a question from the Grinch. Beimfohr, DKGPP, Ray and Devers, or Ranger Suarez and Torkelson?
Suarez and Torkelson. I'm more interested in Ranger today in tournaments, even though he's very popular, than Robbie Ray. I'm on the TJ completely X out Robbie Ray today.
Very good. Checking out in the YouTube, we got some questions coming in. This one from I like this comment from Alex. I'll read this real quick. Alex says, if this show ever goes under, meaning if we ever stopped it or we put it behind a paywall, you better recognize if you're the one who didn't hit that like button. It is good. Like putting that guilt on people. It is true. The show is free. And the idea is we're getting more and more eyeballs every time. And your likes help us get more eyeballs, which help keep the show free. So for real, hit the like button. It helps keep the show free. Andrew says, TJ, if you're choosing one, do you like Ray or Flaherty? Flaherty or Ray on DK?
Flaherty.
TJ, right back to you. It's a question from Jay. First base, Torkelson or Rice? Thank you.
Torkelson.
D-Nell says, did the Twins drop a new lineup yet? I feel like
it's just Julien. Edouard Julien is the one that is in for who got scratched, Larnack.
Larnack, yeah.
Of course, we like
second baseman if you want to play him.
Yeah, and we like
he's terrible. He's one of my slappy. That's one of my slappy guys that I played until they kept sending him back down.
Edouard Julien.
Yes, I thought he was going to be good.
We support French.
Great name.
Awesome name.
Didn't he have like an incredible World Baseball Classic or something?
Yes.
As it turns out, that doesn't help us much. It doesn't.
No, it's like a good NBA summer league. Congrats.
Right. Doesn't do a whole hell of a lot for us. JB Yankees says, Beimfohr, you want Higuero and Ramos or Chapman and Veerling?
Ooh, that is a tough. I'm actually going to go Chapman and Veerling just because I like Chapman that much, but and Veerling's very low owned.
Okay, very good. We're 5 minutes until lock. We'll see if we can ride it out. If we can make it happen. If the questions dry out, we'll just bounce out of here a couple minutes early. We'll also see if we can get the 200th like for our 7th Spidey Bomb. Alex says, TJ, 4,300 or less in the outfield, DK cash. I've already got Ramos. Thank you.
4,300 or less. I would honestly, I would go all the way down to Kerry Carpenter and try and spend up a little bit elsewhere. Or even if I can't spend up elsewhere, I'd still go Carpenter.
Okay. A couple more questions in the YouTube. TJ, this one's for you from Chilla Chill. Your favorite pitcher and a FanDuel GPP?
Favorite pitcher in FanDuel GPP? I would go Peterson.
Okay. Let's see. Beimfohr, back to you from Andrew Martinez in the YouTube. How owned is Rodon going to be on DK? What is his projected ownership? And you,
fresh.
I will give you the power to bump it up or down a little bit if you feel. Yeah,
I like that. That's good power. We have him at 29%. I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the under 29%. He's the 4th highest owned. I think 4th highest is close, but I would be shocked if he's up there near Flaherty, Ray, Suarez.
Yeah. Okay. Nice Kevin, who is not me. It's a different nice Kevin, says, I just parlayed Pete, Matt, and Kerry Bonds for $25 to win 10K.
Yeah. I have the same, like not a $25 one, but a similar thought process for my bets today. All I would say is when you're doing these home run bets, bet them also to hit individually, and I like to do them in combos of like 2 and even 3 as well, because
kind of round robin.
Round robin season.
Do is like if I'm say doing a unit on each home run bet, I'll do a half unit on the doubles, a third unit on the triples, and then a quarter unit on 4 and above. Yeah. So that way, if you hit the big one, hell yeah. But even if you hit 2, you're profiting. Yeah. Or like depending on how you lay it out, even if you hit 1, you're profiting. And so today, since there's 6 of them, we will need 2. 1 isn't going to do the trick. We'll need at least 2, but I think we can get that done today.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Chris Kamen, Chris Kamen, I'll leave the name at that, says Judge Flaherty, Beimfohr, or Seager Suarez?
Judge Flaherty.
Okay. Your favorite 10K pitcher in a FanDuel tournament, TJ?
10K pitcher, like 10K and below?
Yeah. 10K, I think, or maybe best
or
pitcher.
One of the 10K. 3 guys who are 10K. Yeah.
If it's below, it's David Peterson. If it's above, it's Rodon.
Okay. We're like 90 seconds away from making it to lock. Dean didn't think it could be done. Dean didn't think I was going to be here. He thought I would throw in the towel, but my hosting skills are unrivaled unless you bring in Dean or TJ. They're better. But other than those two, my hosting skills are unrivaled.
Other than the other 2 hosts at RotoGrinders.com.
I would say that, so Dean is the absolute best at, you and Dean have very different skill sets, right? You're great at pulling the QQs, keeping things in order, making sure we get done what we need to get done in the time frame we get it done. Dean is the absolute best at killing time. Dean can be a 4-game slate for an hour and 20-minute show, and Dean will make it an entertaining show for the entirety of the hour and 20 minutes.
And still run out of time at the end. She's like, well, we didn't get to talk about this team.
I'm not as good at that as either of you, just like I'm not as good at producing as Steve. I'm just pretty good at all of them. That's like I can fill into all of the spots. Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah. What superhero would fit that build where you can hang on? Let's answer a few questions real quick. We'll get to these questions before lock. Chapman, Perez, TJ, or Keith and Green, DK single entry?
Chapman, Perez.
DK large field tournament, TJ, is 2 high-priced chalky pitchers with a Rangers full stack, 2 power one-offs, and Joey Bart different enough to win it all?
Yes.
A few more. Picking your favorite RG host is like picking your favorite children. He says it's something you got to do. Sometimes you got to do it. Let's see. Did we get them all? I think we got all the questions actually, so that's good. TJ is the Aziz Ansari of RotoGrinders. Does he do a lot of things?
That's an excellent compliment.
That's a good poll.
I think that also has some maybe not great implications behind it, so I don't know if I want that.
Yeah, I feel like they're Fry. Any interest in Fry?
No
Fry. And then I think there was one more question that I maybe missed. Here, let's see. Green or Soto, Beimfohr?
Green.
Okay. TJ, who is the superhero that is your equivalent? Who can do it all?
Spider-Man. It's got to be.
That's what I was thinking. Spidey is a balanced superhero.
Got his regular thing on his own, but I mean, if the Fantastic Four need to fill in, Spidey goes. If the Avengers need to fill in, Spidey goes. And shout out to Came in My Pants. Chris, you can't change the name. We recommended Chris Kamen as a value play in 2015, and he took down his first ever tournament because he was unowned. I love that stuff.
And he still has the name just forever. And it becomes increasingly niche. You know, like fewer and fewer people know who Chris Kamen is the longer this goes. Like 10 years later, a lot of people have no idea who this guy is. 10 years from now, it's just going to be the OGs who have any idea what you're talking about. But man, that is pretty awesome. Guess what? We hit the lock. I think it's time to clear on out of here. So for Beimfohr, for TJ, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes, guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you later on today. You have been crunched.